Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
I'm sure no one will mind.
Move him out of here, Darren.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual
I never
slavery.
said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing, nutters, messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump, you know what I'm saying?
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the 512th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. I'm your host Steve Wellings, and joining me on the call we have Ozzy Smith, Matty Di Gialinardo, and Andy Patterson, going live on YouTube from 8 o'clock every Sunday evening. The Patreon RSS feed updates shortly after the show concludes. Hello to everyone listening through the week on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Don't forget to leave a review on the podcast player of your choice throughout the entire month of February. Nothing less than 5 stars is acceptable. Matty, what's happening? You just revealed to me as we're about to go live, dropped a bomb on me. You're suffering here this weekend. You're a bit under the weather. What's going on, Matty?
Well, I'm not so much. I'm not hungover. I don't even think I had a drink yesterday. I just was up late. This is my birthday. Just hanging out with some friends. Watched the boxing. Played Cards Against Humanity. And I spent the day cooking and my barbacoa tacos. And yeah, it's just a kind of a busy Saturday. So I'm just sitting here smoking me a Willie Nelson brand joint and having a good old time.
Excellent stuff, my man. How old are you? How many years have you accumulated on this planet?
38 more than I ever should have been subjected to.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm surprised you've lasted this long, Matty. No offense.
Oh no, you and me both, man. I fucking I think that I'm hanging on by a thread here. This whole thing is on a razor's edge. It's some combination of fast food, marijuana, and caffeine. But I'll ride this train as long as I can.
He's about as healthy as John Fisher tonight, everybody. Hanging on a razor's edge. Let's hope he doesn't take those razors to his wrists before the night is over. Oliver, you're very welcome here tonight. You've been keeping up to date with the Jake Paul Tommy Fury card, as have I. Christina Poncha's talking, not sure what she's saying. I've got it on mute. Deontay Wilder's floating about in local garb. What have you seen so far, and what are you expecting tonight in the main event?
Well, Mike Tyson has just turned up at ringside, so he's shaking hands with everybody now. I'm watching the BT feed. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I was saying just before it came on air, it's a fight that, again, it's low quality, but I definitely owe it to Jake Paul because he is a fantastic promoter. He knows exactly what to do. He's brilliant at riling people up. And I think, it's something that literally has been built up over 2 years, basically abusing each other, that sort of stuff. And the fight night is here. As said last week, I'm in Tommy Fury's corner. I think he's going to win. I can't remember last week, did I say it might go the distance? But after speaking to a few people, that sort of stuff, it wouldn't surprise me if Fury comes out like a steam train and looks to just basically blitz Paul out of there early on. So ring walk's due at 9:30. So we will definitely be on air at that point. There's a ring walk happening now. I haven't got a clue who the fighter is, but he's holding an Ecuador flag.
Looks like he's having a good time, that fella. It's your birthday as well tomorrow, Ozzy. How old are you?
I will be 31 tomorrow.
Lucky bastard.
And he's spending the evening with us. Why not, I suppose? Why
I'll
not?
tell you what, that Ecuadorian flag might not mean anything, Oz, because on the Pro Box card there was Brazilian and RG colors. You don't see that every goddamn day.
No, you definitely do not see that every day.
I can see that fellow as well. Yeah, Martinez, apparently his name is. Ronaldo's floating about on my stream as well. Let's get on to the real boxing before we get cut off here by the regulators. The boys were egging me on in the Boxing Nutters Messenger group yesterday. I think it was Matty included, to put up the Fury versus Paul live and the photo as the thumbnail for this. And I obliged as best as I could. But we're going to be talking about real boxing first of all, Andy. Over in the Armory, Minneapolis, Minnesota, some atmosphere there. They always get a good crowd in. Subriel Matias against Matias-Ponce, IBF World Super Lightweight. Vacant title was on the line. Matias is the new champion. He did pretty well. Matias-Ponce, Andy, started really fast. It was unlikely he was going to be able to sustain such an output. And gradually, Subriel Matias started matching him as early as the second round into the third, punch for punch. Did Ponce really need to engage in such a firefight early on, Andy?
I don't know, mate. Maybe he felt he did. Maybe it was his only decent option, I suppose, was to get in there and try and bang it out with him. But even after the first round or so, first round at least, he looked like he was doing pretty well. He had Matias covering up. He had the high guard. He was shutting a few shots, Matias, and then it really just turned on a dime for me. And I think it was like late on in round 2. Those 3 left hooks he landed, especially the second one, that dinged up Ponce pretty badly, and he just never really recovered after that. He was on the back foot.
Clearly didn't watch Wood versus Lara.
Yeah, went on the back foot pretty much immediately in round 3. Survival, well, not so much survival mode, sorry, but he at moments he was standing his ground and digging in. He could have went on his bike, I suppose, and made it a negative fight. But I've got to say about Matias that as well. Even though he wasn't on balls, his feet bouncing, pretty much flat-footed, the power he generates is absolutely frightening, because some of those hooks were like short 6-inch hooks sometimes, and the power he was generating was absolutely brutal. You could hear the shot off the gloves and that as well, between with the sound and that as well. Pretty brutal. I think we're about the 4th. He came back a wee bit in it. Ponce tried to kind of meet him kind of head on, and it just they kind of took it in turns, really, just kind of bang away. And based off what we've seen of Ponce, there's not been a great lot. I think as well, his build-up going into this fight hasn't been great. We mentioned it last week. Me and Oz, I think we went with the late stoppage for Ponce and that as well. But it wasn't going to go that far. It just showed signs, actually. And to be fair, I know it was probably an unsatisfactory for those that have actually paid to go there and that, but at least he's been safe for another day, Ponce, because he was going to get badly knocked out or worse within the next couple of rounds if he made it that far, to be fair. So fair play to Matias. It's good actually as well, because we needed somebody else to kind of break out in the sport, and I'm glad he's got his opportunity in that as well, and he's got his moment, because obviously he's had the bad days are behind him, so to speak, in that. But you kind of felt that maybe mentally it might play its part at some point, but it seems to have not really kind of much has phased him as such. Maybe he thinks about it, but he's still what we expect him to be: a big hitter, good fighter. And to be fair as well, as you got to say, like fights against like Prograis, Lopez, maybe even Josh Taylor, if it ever happens, and that would be absolutely excellent fights. And I think he's more than a worthy challenge for any of those guys.
I agree with you, Andy, when you're saying being safe for another day. But in this instance, I do think it's strange, given the fact they were 2 for 2. It obviously wasn't going in his favour. He'd just been knocked down for the first time. He was unbeaten, never knew what it was like to lose before. I criticised Wood Lara last week. I kind of came round in the end. I can see people being safe for another day. He's talking about his family, etc. But we're talking round 5 here, not round 10, 11 or 12. At what point are guys going to fight for titles and bail out after 3 rounds and say, oh, well, we'll save him for another day? I mean, it has to be some level of durability involved.
Well, the way he got up, guys, like, I mean, he like hopped to his feet. Like, it's not like his legs weren't there. It was weird and anticlimactic and just not fitting of the first 5 rounds of that fight.
Go ahead, Andy.
Sorry, mate, there's something on in the background there, sorry. Yeah, well, as Matty was saying, it was a bit weird, but at the end of the day, I think the way it was going to go, he was going to get badly knocked out. It really just looked like Matias was just totally turned the fight about say round 4, I think Ponce was meeting him head on, but you could just tell Matias was slowly but just breaking him down, and it was inevitable it was going to come. I mean, he worked the body brutally as well. He was happily standing there, Matias, and just like, work the body, come up the middle with uppercuts, and repeat it. And Ponce never really had like much an answer. You say he could have got on the jab, he could have got on his bike, but I think he ultimately was just delaying inevitable. To be fair, that just based off how that fight was going. I mean, see, he made a great start, but it was totally changed after that second left hook landed. At the end of that second round for me, because it says the mentality of him changed immediately in round 3, and he must have felt, look, the only chance I've got here is to try and meet him head on. Maybe gave him the best. That was his best, and he said his corner knows him better, so we're just going to take his word for it at the end of the day. But he's waited this long. I agree with you, support to a point, but we would have seen him badly knocked out in the end, and that's one way to go. But we just don't know the damage that would have been caused there, and if he would ever come again. So at least we can wait to see what he does next, at least.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Go on, Matty.
It was the most anticlimactic ending with a 140-pound title fight in an Argentinian since Maidana against Ortiz, but the Argy was on the other side of that one.
Roles reversed, exactly.
Yeah.
A nice use of no mass in the corner as well, Matty. I know, I think it was Johnny Nelson, Horsecock, was saying there, Lewis Ritson made Ponce look like Roberto Duran. No surprise to see someone called Ponce fading so badly there, but I thought the ending wasn't a complete surprise to me. Obviously, it was a surprise at the time, but thinking back, Ponce came out with one of those South American strategies that we have seen in the past. A fighter who comes out for the first half of the fight, his plan is to unload the tank, throw every shot he could, hoping to outgun and blast away the opponent. If it doesn't happen, him and the corner are saying, we're gone by round 6. I've seen guys from that part of the world adopt that strategy before.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I guess it's a fair strategy. I think it was the wrong one, though. I think his body work is good. He has a good jab when he uses it. I think he should have been playing that for more rounds and coming out guns blazing. I don't think that was the right thing for Ponce to do. Definitely a strategic error. And it was, I guess when I think about what kind of bothered me the most about the end of it is, like I said, when Ponce got up, he kind of did a little hop up, so he had his feet, he had his legs. It was just kind of the reaction after it was done. They weren't incredibly disappointed. They weren't totally bothered. It's just kind of nonchalant about it. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like that attitude, especially in a title fight. It's just kind of put me off.
Yeah, I think a dad in the corner syndrome as well. I honestly think they've come up to an agreement. Do you remember when Porter fought Crawford and basically Kenny let slip afterwards that they'd said beforehand, if it gets to a certain point and X thing is happening, I'm going to pull you? I think he said, look, son, go out there, do as best as you can. And if it doesn't happen by a certain time in the fight, Matty, I'm gonna pull you out. I think that agreement was made.
Could be the case, and it's just the wrong thing to do. And if Ponce wants to go anywhere further in his career, he needs to get a different trainer, because he doesn't need someone in his corner who doesn't believe in his heart, his guile, his ability to get through the tough things and pull victory out. Not every win is going to be easy, and that was just, it had the makings of being a truly exceptional fight, and then just ended up being 5 rounds of good action followed by an ending so disappointing. It's you're not even going to get a mention of it towards the end of the year. I'm already looking beyond it. Give me Matias against Puello or Rougarou. I'll take either of those fights. Make it happen.
Yeah, Matias is an absolute beast. Looking at Ponce going forward, Ozzy, you picked him last week to win. He's an on-top come-forward fighter. I think he likes to be on top and dominate opponents. As soon as he was being pushed back, his corner didn't like the way things were going. That might be a marker for the future, I think, as well. Push him back, weather the storm, and he'll struggle.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still think he'll be a problem at the weight. I've got to say that I thought Matias took some huge shots in the first. It shows that not only is he, destructive himself, but he also took some big shots, and he has a chin. But yeah, he kind of weathered the storm, pushed him back, and Ponce didn't really know what to do as such. He didn't like it, struggled, and ultimately, I I want to say he just chucked it in, basically. You know, like I agreed with the Lee. Well, spoke last week. The Leewood stoppage for me was correct. Just pulling him after that, it's like basically he just had enough and he bottled it. He knew it wasn't going his way. I think he didn't really know what to do as such, and he basically, you know, he can claim he saved himself for another day. But yeah, disappointing, you know. And yeah, like you said, there was no real finish as such. But you know, I give credit to Matias there because he is a real problem at 140. You know, he's fluid. I think his combination punches are excellent. He's naturally heavy-handed. Spoke about Maurizio Lara last week. You know, he again is naturally heavy-handed. This guy hurts people without, you know, loading up on his shots. He's really good to watch, and he is a problem at 140 now. You know, you don't want to be taking big shots off him like that. You know, there's loads of good fights to be made for him. Straight away, you know, Josh Taylor. I want to see someone like Josh Taylor in with him. I think that'd be an excellent fight. That would be a firefight as well because, you know, Taylor likes to, you know, bully, dominate opponents. I think that is a style that you do not like. Look, it showed. Ponce after the first round, I thought, bloody hell, you know, like him with a shout here straight away. But again, you know, Taylor, you know, we've seen it before. He likes to get into a firefight. And Matias is somebody you don't want to get into a firefight with because you've got to have something yourself to really get on top. But no, I thought, you know, for the 5 rounds I thought it was excellent, really fun to watch. Disappointing ending for Ponce. He's definitely got a place in the division, in my opinion. You know, is he out and out world level? Off last night, he showed somewhat glimpses, but in reality, probably not. But he's incredibly dangerous, and I don't think you'll be having many people to queue up and fight him. I think, you know, he'll be one of them that if he works his way back into position, he's a difficult, you know, sort of like eliminator or potential mandatory challenger. As for Matias, again, hopefully he gets the back in now. There's big fights available for him, and let's see him get those straight away because he deserves it.
Absolutely. Quick dip into the undercard of the Paul Fury fight there. There is a prospect supposedly on at the moment, Ziad Al-Mayouf. He's been knocked down in round 1 there, Aussie by Ronald Martinez. How this guy's a prospect, I don't know. His hands are low. He's leaning over his front foot.
Mohammed bin Man Salman.
He's rubbish, mate. And this, like I said, this Ecuadorian banged him in the first, dropped him, and he's tagged him again in the second. But so it's only a 4 round. So I can't wait to see the cards here when the referee somehow scores it 40-36.
He's going to win, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and Paul Martinez will be going back to Ecuador thinking, what else could I have done about from nail him to the canvas? But yeah, 40-36 incoming with the knockdown ruled a no knockdown. Actually, Martinez has just took a couple of big shots. It's not a bad little 4 rounder this actually, because again, this prospect isn't very good, and this is, you know, one of these typical, you know, like tough, you know, like journeyman who comes in and just basically thinks I couldn't give a toss who the opponent is.
Sloppiness makes for excitement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, basically, and they're just teeing off on each other. So for a 4 rounder, it doesn't really get much better.
You know what's fucked up, guys, is they might have had a decent little fighter for these undercards in the Middle East if they hadn't bombed that fucking Yemeni fighter.
Well, for fuck's sake, Matty.
Do you remember him? He was that's how he died. He was like 20-0 with 20 knockouts, and he got fucking killed in a bomb.
Ali Rami or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
You used to troll Gonzalez, call him what was he called him? Call him a clitoris or something like that. So you're running scared from that's what it was. You're running scared from uranium fist rattling your G spot. That's what it was. I actually seen some of his fights on YouTube, right? Honestly, God, he was garbage, absolute shit.
He used to go for it though.
But he was like so far. He'd be fighting the same guy about 4 or 5 times, or Farah's case 20 times. You know.
M. Lithgow, 1980.
We'll have no Saul Farah slander there, Andrew.
He should be on an undercard like this. It's right up his
I was going to say, if there's ever a place for Farah to pop up, it's a random undercard like this against some like elite heavyweight prospect, and they'll bring in Farah for the crowd, you know, because he's got this massive record of about 60 wins or whatever it is, or 50 wins or something like that. And then Farah gets I tell you the fight, by the way. We might make a nod to him in Bellew of the week after, but Christopher Lovejoy against Saul Farah. What a fight that would be.
Oh, aye.
I'd be tempted to fly down to Bolivia for that one, Oz.
See Saul Farah, maybe prop him up one of these shows. Now, I want someone to confirm his arm length because he's got one arm longer than the other one. So I want to know.
You're obsessed with the long arm.
Yes, man. It's fucking crazy. He looks like the orangutan, for fuck's sake. His arms are honestly, they're long as anything. Inspector Gadget arms, right? But
Boxer
you can clearly
needs to
see
measure
that he's
his
got
reach.
one longer than the other one.
He'll have 2 reaches on Boxer, Andy, next to each other.
That's what I want to know.
I remember mentioning to Carl Greaves a couple of years ago. Do you remember he had a heavyweight Ellis matching who turned over and he was like 4-5-0. And I sent him Farah and said, how much would it cost to bring him over here? I reckon you could sell the hall out just purely on Saul Farah being an opponent. And he tentatively had a look in it, but he said it was too expensive to basically do the fight. But I thought, imagine fucking Farah had travelled in the away corner to boxing like a little small hall in Nottingham against Ellis matching. I thought that would have been absolutely fantastic. And I would have gone as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Saul Farah in Newark Leisure Centre fighting on UK soil. M. Lithgow 1983 says, when we're covering Mayweather versus Chalmers, well, if you tuned into the Boxing Nutters calling last night, as no doubt you did, Eamon was there last night to take Ames, Andy, for seconds out backstage at the show. I think he was one of the only people at backstage by the same time.
Fuck's sake, man.
Didn't sell it very well.
I hope Ames, they probably paid Ames just to actually go to that, eh? I mean, they were wanting, I'm not going to mention names, but apparently they were asking for ridiculous money of betting companies to sponsor it, and then they went back. That got knocked back. They came back with a much reduced offer, and they still got told to fucking bolt. I'd imagine everybody got paid. No, I imagine Floyd and everybody got paid, but nobody else did actually after all that shit. But how many tickets did they actually sell there last night? I mean, I never saw a stitch yet.
I did. I tried to watch it. It was really bad copy on YouTube. I got about a minute in, and they were doing the whole exhibition thing, Andy. You know, the hands up, sort of fainting. I thought, fuck this. I just turned it off. I ain't watching this.
And apparently he just played with him in that, just kind of like peacocked him basically. So, fuck.
Yeah.
Was it pay-per-view here? Was it?
It was on Zeus.
Oh, I remember.
TV or something. Someone
Zeus.
was saying.
Something I had fucking no idea who the Zeus was.
Aye, Zeus TV.
Zeus was probably the big guy in prison that shagged cherries and that came in.
Aye, Zeus. Coming to a fire stick near you. Matt Butter says you guys don't think Ponce come to win. No, I do, Matt. I think Ponce came to win, but I think the strategy was to just blow his load after 4 or 5 rounds and just see how he got on. And if he didn't get rid of Subriel Matias by that point, get out of there. Matty, I was going to say to you, actually, just to close out this main event, I like the official verdict. Jimmy Lennon announced Mark Nelson stopped the fight upon suggestion of the corner. It wasn't so much a suggestion as a direct instruction. Ponce's dad felt his son had just taken far too much to the head. I think, as for Matias, we mentioned him going forward. I strongly believe the loss to Ananyan and the Dadashev incident, they're both firmly behind Matias now. He is a dangerous fighter, and he will be an absolute handful for anybody he faces.
Oh, absolutely, and hopefully they get him good fights. Like I said, I think him against Puello is a fantastic fight. I think him against Prograis is a fantastic fight, and we can get some of these, work on reunifying this division because God knows what the fuck the T.O. and Taylor fight's gonna be for and what. Who knows anymore? It's just he fits well in the division. It doesn't seem like 140 is horribly deep at the moment. But there's some really good fighters at the top and some good up-and-comers. And, even though on the undercard he fell a little bit flat in ways, Alvis Rodriguez, I mean, he's a good enough fighter, and he's coming up, and he's a good puncher. Adorno hadn't been dropped before, and he hurt him pretty good. I think that might have been the purpose of that card, maybe PBC building towards that. We'll see, but there's a few good-looking fights for him out there, and but man, they better watch out. They specifically for that left hook, dude can bang.
Oh, absolutely. Josh Taylor, I think maybe fighting Lopez for the WBO title, but Taylor would have his work cut out with Matias. Go ahead, Ozzy.
I was going to say, do you think we could potentially see a Matias Pedraza fight, an all Puerto Rican fight, or not?
Where's Pedraza fishing around weight-wise at the moment? Is he
still 140, but he's top rank.
Yeah.
He's top rank.
Okay, fair enough. Possibly, yeah. I suppose they could put him in. It'd be a 10-round, Ozzy. We know that much anyway.
He's no ranked, though, is he?
Yeah, but mate, who cares?
Yeah, I
you know, he
suppose,
gets a quick
call.
win banging out somebody, and then he appears in the
Mate, he doesn't
IBF
need to
top
fight.
3 or something like
He
that
doesn't
as a
need-
voluntary. Yeah.
He doesn't need to fight. A fucking quick phone call and I could say, "Let me bring an envelope or sort of it, mate." That's what you got to do.
I'm just having a look at the rankings now. Actually, it's going to be interesting because you'd think Prograis. I don't know who there's talk that he might be fighting Jack Catterall next. Actually, that's been spot. I know Sky are looking to work on that. You've got obviously Josh Taylor against Teofimo Lopez. Ramirez has got Richard Comey. It's going to be interesting to see, who they could potentially. Obviously, like these guys will fight. Ramirez, Comey. But
Prograis a free agent, is he? Of sorts, is he?
I think he's signed to about 4 different entities, isn't he? I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Did he sign with BLK as well or something like that?
Probellum, Lou DiBello at a time. Somebody
He
else.
was losing his shit when his check bounced there.
Yeah,
Hobson Promotions, I think, have got some sort of deal with him as well. So who knows? But yeah, I don't know what's it called. There's loads of good fights that would work for him. Even as a Zepeda fight, I know he got beat off Prograis, but I think that'll be a good fight as well. There's a lot of decent fights to be made for him, that's for sure. It's going to be interesting to see actually where they do move him next.
Talking of interesting fights, Matty, further down the Showtime card, Jamal James going in against Alberto Palmetta. I didn't realise the size difference until they laid up against each other in the ring. James is an absolute unit for that weight. Tall, gangly, puts his shots together really nicely. Palmetta always felt like he was in the fight because James does tend to tire down the stretch. I think he was moaning that he had COVID 3 times and he was saying in the corner he was really tiring, but he seems like an all-round good dude and he was catching Palmetta with a lot of good shots. It was quite wide on the cards, but strangely competitive from what I saw. Really good fight.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. It was kind of the story of distance when Palmetta could get inside on James. He was landing some good shots, but more often than not, James was able to land good combinations from the outside, and he threw some good inside too. He wasn't without ability there. And the cards might have seemed a little wide, but it was close but competitive. A few swing rounds in there. I don't think you could have gotten it as close to a draw, but I think you could have gotten a 96-94 on that one and not been too out of the bounds on it at the end of the day. I don't really know where either of these guys go from here, though. James has lost twice. This is his first fight since he got stopped by Butaev in late 2021. So I don't really know where he's going to go from here. I don't think he's a title fighter quality, but maybe testing some of the guys coming up the 147 ladder at PBC. He'll probably find his way into eliminators and such, but good enough fighter, but not good enough for the top.
Closing out that card, you already mentioned Elvis Rodriguez, Matty going in against Joseph Adorno. It's pretty defensive, tactical, quite dull for the first six rounds or so. Then things heated up. I thought in the 7th, Rodriguez started to find his range, landed a right hook and a flurry of shots, kind of stunned Adorno. He went to the floor. Most of them landed while he was on his feet. The referee waved him off, gave him a nice count there. Adorno, usually quite defensive, quite negative guy, but he tried to fight back as well as he could. He showed balls, good left hook to the body. A lot of power for Rodriguez against an opponent moving up in weight. A good little win for him, really.
Yeah, and Adorno's a good fighter. He just doesn't throw enough. I think that's always been his problem, is he just doesn't let his hands go. He obviously has a decent punch about him, too, so it's a shame that he doesn't. I don't know how they got that majority decision card on that one, Steve. That was weird. Yeah. But it was Rodriguez, like I said, he's definitely got something about him. He can punch when you might not have gotten the stoppage, but your second knockdown, notwithstanding, when you can hurt a guy who hasn't been dropped in his career, whether you finished him off or not, you're a puncher. He's really gangly for the weight, long arms, lanky. You kind of wonder if he couldn't fight the fight that Ponce should have fought against Matias, using that jab early, using range, and try to take him later on where you might be able to go in there, rip some more, and take him out. But Rodriguez is a good fighter on his way up, and hopefully they match him well along the way. I don't know how far out he is from a title shot. Adorno's not is pretty much kind of a gatekeeper-ish guy. So he's knocking at the door, and it'll be interesting to see if they move him into a title shot, or Gary Antonio Russell, I think is the one at 140, the Russell brother, or if they maybe put them in against each other. That's an interesting question, but they have a little bit of stack of talent there and a few good fights that could be made. It's just a matter of when they're looking to take the steps on these guys.
Absolutely. Andy's enjoying his curry. The people are joining the chat. We'll give them a shout out very shortly for episode 512. Matty's here, Ozzy's here, Steve's here. That's me. Andy's here as well. They're making the announcement in the ring at the moment. Let's see who's got the decision. What are you seeing here, Ozzy? Have they read out the scores yet, or is the referee still trying to pull them back together again?
Yeah, Zayed Al-Mouf has just been given the decision on the cards. 38-37. He is the winner on all three cards. So
they gave him all 3 rounds. He didn't get dropped in.
Yeah, that is absolute bollocks. What, you got to feel for the Ecuadorian. That is such a bad decision. That, and the guy's going round. Like it looks, he's pointing at all the judges. Giving them fist bumps and stuff. He's been given a medal as well.
He's got Paul Smith in his corner.
The WBC have given him a medal each. But Mauricio Sullivan's in the ring as well.
Boxing has gone to the point where we're handing out participation trophies now. Fuck me.
Yeah. When are we going to get one?
That is a shambles. That awful decision. Awful.
Couple of things from the weekend, Ozzy, just to pick up with you. We spoke off air. Dil Magani was supposed to fight Liam Dillon on Friday night. That did not happen.
Yeah.
One fight that did happen was Rigondeaux. Tell us about Dil Magani, first of all. What's going on there?
So Dil Magani, I should have twigged last week. I saw online that he put something out basically saying that he'd been laid up in, a hospital bed on an IV drip because he was really ill, and I think he'd had pneumonia as well. So, clearly battling not just an illness, but a really severe illness, which, is obviously detrimental to your health. Anyway, I think he's out of hospital now. Clearly wouldn't have been ready for that Liam Dillon fight. But it's just been announced now that he's going to be fighting Zelfa Barrett in the best part of, 6 or 7 weeks. How you can be deemed fit to compete in a boxing ring in 6-7 weeks' time after you're coming off a big bout of pneumonia, I do not know. This is something that the board should be looking at. I guess at the moment I don't know. Does it have to be sanctioned before they announced it? I don't know exactly. I think they do.
You would have thought so.
Actually. Yeah, you do actually, because you see, do you remember when Lucas Brown was considered as an opponent for Dubois and the board stepped in and wouldn't sanction it? So actually, so the board have given the okay for this. Are they not looking at what Dil Magani, like the illness that he's had? For me, you cannot be physically fit in 6 or 7 weeks' time when you've been not just laid up at home, but in hospital. Like I said, on IV drips. It's not just an overnight thing. It'd have been in for, probably at least a week, maybe 2.
Hey, at least he's not going to have problems making weight.
Well, making weight, it'd be a fucking corpse on the scales, no doubt. But I'll be piling into Barrett to stop him because he's just not going to have the energy, is he? Maybe he needs to get on 80 eggs a week or something like that, build up his strength. We all know that no one cares about that sort of a diet anymore. So, people like to say Jake Paul makes a mockery of boxing. Yet this week we've seen a boxer claim that tainted eggs are the reason that he failed a dope test and everybody else is to blame. So I think that's the real reason what is embarrassing boxing, not people like Jake Paul. But shame about Dil Magani because he's a talented fighter, and I actually think on form it would be a pretty decent fight against Zelfa Barrett. But I think for me, I don't like constantly going on at Hearn and stuff like that because it does get boring. But for me, he should have a duty of care, and a fighter wants to fight. Sometimes you've just got to go above that and say, look, Dil Magani's not, I don't care, if he says he's fit. For me, 6 weeks isn't enough and it should just be completely waved away. But that was the reason that didn't happen, which is a shame, really. I think in all honesty, he would have probably stopped, certainly beaten Liam Dillon. Might well have stopped him, actually, just not for being a big puncher, but I think being a bit too cute, having too much for him, and just overwhelming him really. And as for Rigondeaux, it was short, sweet, gets him out of there. I don't really know what he's doing, to be honest, Rigondeaux, in all honesty.
He doesn't know what else to do with himself, does he?
Yeah, it's weird, like he's 42 now, 43. He's more active now than when he was fucking, arguably in his prime. It's bizarre.
He could still make 118 as well, man. It's crazy.
Oh, mate, I know, yeah, I know. I honestly, I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what he's going to do. Where's he going to go? It's not as if, he's a big name from where, you can pull money in, off ticket sales, that sort of stuff. It's a decent win, for, I don't want to taint him with the term prospect because it's where it's out of line that, but like someone pushing world level. And let's have it right, the Casemiro fight was quite close. That guy, that when he lost in Dubai as well, I think basically because he got dropped, that kind of killed him in the fight as well. I can't remember the fight out and out though, what it was like if he was jobbed on the cards a little bit. But yeah, I mean, what's
well, and
he doing?
Astrolabia is not a bad fighter. I mean, after that, he had a decent win too. He's a solid enough fighter.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know the cards. Well, there was a round in it. Had Rigondeaux stayed on his feet, he wins the fight, or it's a draw or something like that. But yeah, I'm just looking at the the bantamweight rankings now. Look, he's not going to box in a way, that's for sure. Can't see him in against Donaire. I don't really know where he's going to go, really. He just seems to be like just not going through the motions, but clearly still needs to fight. Is it a financial thing as well? Does he have the finances from where he can't retire? Something like that. But yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. It genuinely wouldn't shock me if he ends up like randomly boxing for a world title at like Superfly or Fly, just as a random opportunity from nowhere. But yeah, look, he gets a win last night. He did it in not so common Rigondeaux style. And then, yeah, I guess we'll ultimately wait and see what happens next. But who knows? Like I say, he's more active now than when he was in his pomp, which kind of sums him up as a fighter, really.
Well, the thing for him is I mean, he's been boxing since he was, knee high to a grasshopper. What's he gonna do? Like this is what he knows. For the transition for someone like that's gonna be a bitch.
Exactly, yeah, and ultimately as well, he's. I guess that's what I mean. Is he just doing that because he has nothing else to do? I don't know. Look, he's still got skills and still got ability, and like I said, there's only really Lomachenko was really beating him up and giving him a beating. The other two fights, like you say, Astrolabia and Casemiro were close. He was well in those fights, and they weren't too long ago either. So he's still a very, very good fighter. Very, very good. Still has skills. Will still get good wins. I just don't really know like who's gonna, give him opportunities. I mean, I don't even. I'm just looking at that card. I don't even know who the promoter Leon.
It was Leon Margules, who, interestingly enough, Ozzy, was at ringside last night as well for the Showtime card. So he was jetting about with old Margules. I had an interaction with him once. He was over for the Brady's Prescott corner against Paul McCluskey. I stole his chair and he was raging.
Well, I hope you got to keep the chair as well, given your stature over in Ireland as well. So, but yeah, but no, like I said, I mean, it's like a small hall card. If anything, I would consider it too. So who knows, like where he's going to end up next. But surely he's not just going to continue, boxing, punks like he did last night for the foreseeable. I think he'll be working towards a big fight. Might have one more as a run out, and then somehow look to get an opportunity. Maybe pick up a ranking belt and he gets pushed up. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, it's like he's just going through the motions. If anything, he's basically boxing because, like you said, Matty, he has nothing else to do.
Yep, going through the motions on a Sunday evening, like we are. Exactly. Shout out to everybody in the chat there. Great energy, says Matt Butters. Maybe he's talking about us. Who knows? Here's one for you, Matty. Next Sunday afternoon in the Punjab Public College. I know you like a mononym. How about a duplicate name here? We've got Shashikant on the card. We've got Bhupendra making his debut. I used to work with a guy called Mohammed. There's a distinct lack of imagination going into the name in there, Matty.
No, it's like you don't even give a fuck about your kids. Like, what are they? Just like, for future farmers for you? Are we still doing, agrarian replacement and breeding here? Give the kid a fucking name. Put some thought into it. Is there a river nearby? Name him after the fucking river. Work with me here, people. Jesus Christ, there's over 1 billion of you. There's got to be a good handful of names.
I thought you were going to say book them into the river like cats in a bag.
Yeah, like when they used to float the bodies down the Ganges aflame, and if the wife was still alive, she had to hop aboard with the dead husband.
There we are. You don't get that type of content anywhere else. Episode 512, everybody. A shout out to the chat. Let's get our hazmat suits on and have a dip in and see who's hanging around there. Motor City Cobras here as always. Yumi Yappi, Mark Stanton, Johnny Horsecup Nelson is here. Big A, Joseph Kennedy. That's Joe. He was on with me, Des, and Ames last night on the Boxing Nutters Calling. Matt Butters is with us, so is Grime, the Dr. FMG, Michael Thompson, Chilo 35, that is Jason Cheel, Baron Bedsores, Des Watson. Sean Edwards was knocking about sometimes. He's not a fan of Hater Dave. He asked for the link. I'll give it him. He didn't come on. Magoo's there, F2, Matthew Williams, Andrew Thickett. Quite a good turnout tonight. About 12,000 altogether. Hit the like. Josh Ford, that means you as well. Shout out to Ray. He's joining us alongside Cedric Sniff. Just scrolling on up, seeing if we can see any new names. Anybody that we haven't seen before. We will be talking Conor Benn later on. Danny Young's jumped in as well, so shout out to him. Yep, absolutely, Joe. Good to see you as well. Right, what else have we got then? Let's get on to that Conor Benn chat now, actually, shall we? Eggs Benedict, as Andy says there on the screen, as Luke Bignell jumps in. He's good for a comment or two, is Luke Bignell. What's going on with this Conor Benn situation then, Ozzy? A few of the boys are throwing in little names there earlier on. Grime says Conor Benedict. Lithgow says Conor Hen. And also I quite liked Hatchroom Boxing as well. The WBC have put their 2 pence worth in this week. He's cleared, Ozzy, apparently. He's all cleared now. The WBC have said that there's no undue findings. Conor Benn's fit to fight again. He's going to sue the British Boxing Board of Control, the absolute bastards who were trying to derail his career. Everything is right again with the world.
The thing is, though, he's not really clear to fight, is it? Because the WBC have no grounds to ban fighters, to do anything whatsoever. They've just cleared him to be reinstated back into their rankings. They're a sanctioning body, not a governing body. Ultimately, the WBC might not, they don't rank, might not rank somebody because they don't box for one of their belts. That's it. Ben, like I said, has gone through all this effort to clear his name with a sanctioning body, and they're completely pointless. So, absolutely, it's a joke. It's the excuse of just eggs is embarrassing. He's now, there's talk now, he's now coming out saying he's going to be suing the British Boxing Board of Control for loss of earnings for the way they handled it. If it was me, I'd be making inquiries into where the eggs came from and looking to sue those people, because ultimately they're the ones who've done you over, because they provided you with a tainted product which you continue to eat. I mean, it's all a bit, dodgy, really. I mean, Sullivan is just, sometimes you're better off saying nothing, absolutely nothing, because what he's come out with is a joke. He's basically said, "Oh, I'm no food expert, I'm no this and I'm not that." And like I said before, we're right to mock all these people, saying, like, look, the Misfits stuff is not boxing. And, that is an embarrassment. But people are all right to jump on people like Jake Paul saying, he does absolutely nothing for boxing. He's an embarrassment. He's this and he's that. Yet, arguably one of Matchroom's biggest stars has come out and just blamed eating too many eggs as the reason he's not failed not 1 drugs test, but 2 drugs tests. And after the first one, he continued to eat all these eggs. And he's not the reason why boxing is an embarrassment. Come on. I mean, I'm glad we didn't get down the female fertility pill as the reason why, what's it called, as the reason he failed his test. Instead, he claims it's a large consumption of eggs. Well, I'll tell you what, find out where these eggs are from. I will eat all these eggs that you claim, by the way. I don't even think it's physically possible to eat all those eggs. You'd be forever shitting. I don't think your body can get through that many eggs. But I will eat all these eggs, and then you ped test me and see if I pop for clomiphene as well. Well, it's an easy way to do it, isn't it? If it's just eggs, just trial it on somebody. You do the diet, do it for however many weeks he claims, and if it is true from where these eggs are coming from, you'll pop. And there might be some substance to that, if you trial it on 10 people and they all pop for the same amount of traces. But they won't do that because it's complete bollocks. I don't even think you can use clomiphene over here to. I think it's surely part of the government rules for the way you feed chickens and stuff like that. That you can't use basically chemicals like clomiphene in eggs.
Come on, Mexican beef and British eggs. Come on, you know the story, Oz.
You can't even. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, but this is what I mean. We're basically just blaming meat. Now, you've got tainted wild boar, Mexican beef, and dodgy eggs. So basically, note to all fighters: don't eat eggs, boar, or beef, because do it because nothing happens to you anyway. It's going to be interesting to see what the British Boxing Board of Control do now. On the face of it, do I think they handled everything perfectly? No. For me, when they got wind of those tests and the results that came through from VADA, something should have been done then. It shouldn't have got to, essentially, 3 days before, 2 days before, and the fight is then cancelled. It shouldn't have got to that. But we all come back to it again, don't we? That how many times was it said that, VADA are the best, VADA are this and VADA are that? Yet the promotional company then said, VADA aren't recognised, therefore their test is irrelevant. Well, why pay for VADA? What is the point in paying for VADA, who, test you for everything, and, basically to then disregard them because Eduardo then says that UCAD, the British Boxing Board of Control do not recognise VADA. They only recognise UCAD. And because Ben didn't fail a UCAD test, it doesn't matter. Well, what is the point in VADA again? And it is sketchy. It's something that I think then needs to be a complete overhaul of the whole system. It should be, when you've got USADA, WADA, VADA, UCAD, etc. They should have one list fits all. That's it. None of this in competition, out of competition. It's a one test fit. It's a one list fits all. So that removes some confusion straight away. And each drugs body should be recognised by everybody. So, for example, if Joe Bloggs pops a UCAD test, that is recognised by everybody. We'd have none of this nonsense then that, this board doesn't recognise this or something like that. And again, that is the mockery of boxing. That is the complete mockery. And the way that, we're now talking of suing people. We had it with Dillian White, where he claimed that the reason he popped a drugs test is because he was mixing antibiotics in for his dog into its food and stuff like that. That was swept under the carpet. It is an embarrassment. And that is the true thing. And that is why the sport will always struggle. And you know what? In 6 to 12 months' time, maybe not even that, we're going to see Conor Benn headlining DAZN shows again like nothing's ever gone on. And people will just be made to accept or made to take that he's innocent. He's not innocent. He's not proven anything. He's just claimed that he's eaten so many eggs. Yet 6-8 months ago, prior to all this, he claimed he was vegan or he was majority vegetarian and he didn't eat eggs. So what the hell has changed? You don't just decide, I'm going to jack being vegan in and go from one extreme to the other. I'm not going to eat any meat or eggs, and now I'm going to eat 80 and 90 eggs a week. Come on. And that's the worst thing. They're in respectable titles. It's not just a throwaway comment. GQ magazine, I think, he did a big interview with them saying about his diet, saying what he ate. And yeah, it's something that sometimes I have more time for fighters who, just go, you know what? I got it wrong and I've been caught. People make mistakes and actually you can accept it. People are humans. Mistakes happen all the time. Do you agree with it? Does it have to be agreed with? No. Do some fighters deserve a second chance, because they've made a mistake? Absolutely. And I'll finish it on this. Liam Cameron, people like that who have not got the bank balances were nailed by the British Boxing Board of Control for essentially for doing cocaine.
Yeah.
of something that does not enhance your performance, does not do anything, and that was small traces of it. But because he's not got the bank balance, because he's not got the bank balance of Conor Benn, the board can bully him and the board can nail him, and they'll happily roll out a drugs ban for 3 or 4 years, the maximum length, and it can't be contested. This one, from where, like clomiphene, like you've had weightlifters, basically Olympic weightlifters come out, talk about it. You've had drugs experts talk about it. But essentially, because he's got money, we'll ultimately see nothing happen to it. And that is the real problem. That's the real reason that the fact that tainted food in this day and age for a professional athlete who is earning millions, he should not be having tainted food.
In a first world country, mind you, too.
Exactly. It is impossible. And I think the one thing with Canelo did, by the way, he actually took them to where he bought the beef from. In Mexico.
To prove it, mate. He also gave a follicle sample as well, which
follicle,
90 days after. So Canelo will have that tag against him, but at the same time as he has went above and beyond what Ben is trying to do by trying to prove his innocence, receipts, purchase, and the hair follicle sample was the main thing. Ben has done none of those. Sorry, mate, on you go.
But no, that's it really. I was just going to say, look. We can say all we want about Canelo. Does he cheat? Does he not? That sort of stuff. But he did go above and beyond. And like I said, I remember them. And he basically provided addresses, receipts, etc., where this beef came from. And I'm pretty sure from memory, they tested other beef and it did come up in that. I'm 90% sure that I read something on that it was proven to be correct. And like I said, when you offer a hair sample, you basically, why are you going to offer a hair sample if you know you've been cheating? Whereas with Ben, like I said as well with Ben, it's not just one test, by the way, it's 2. Now, why would you continue to eat something when you've popped for it if you know you suspect it? Why? Why would you continue to do that? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And like I said, for the WSBC to come out, it's irrelevant, really. It's absolutely irrelevant. This is where the board have got to basically, Ben, by the way, has not provided any sort of documentation to the board either. Why? Doesn't matter if you clear your name with the WBC, who cares? If Ben doesn't clear his name with the board and this rumbles on, he can't fight in the UK. And I'm not sure how it works, but I'm pretty sure that they can put a blocker on him fighting anywhere else as well. I know he doesn't have a license at the moment. He decided to relinquish it, didn't renew it. Now, it's rare that happens, and they've done that basically because he can't. I don't think they can formally punish him as such because he doesn't have a license. So what's he going to do? And all I know is that he will come out worse than this reputationally than anything else because it's a sad state of affairs. Like I say, it's an embarrassment. He's blaming tainted eggs. Yeah, that there's no proof of this. Will he continue to eat eggs now? What's he doing? Is he going to go vegan? Who knows? But the whole situation stinks, and that is why boxing is an embarrassment because you can ultimately you can fail 2 tests, blame something, and at the moment, a massive governing body just goes, "Okay, no problem, crack on. You're back in our rankings."
Crack on, liking that, Ozzy, liking crack on.
Just hang on, Matty. That as well.
Just before I unleash Andy, you're watching from the other side of the pond, Matty. What are you thinking about this? Is Conor Benn the most dangerous man in British boxing, or is it Gad?
Oh God, I guess for the female boxers, it's Gad, and for the male boxers, it's not Conor Benn. I think my thoughts on this can be summed up really succinctly. That it benefits the sanctioning bodies to go to bat for drug cheats because without drug cheats, they wouldn't have a product.
There you go. Short and sweet from Matty. Coming on to you, Andy, a couple of points from the boys just to ease you in the chat here. Matthew Williams says Ben and Eddie haven't tried to prove anything. They've just tried to bluff and blag until people move on. And the Dr. FMG, The Dr. FNG makes a good point, and I've said this myself before. That's exactly what VAR are for. They're all on about, we need these drug testing agencies to keep drugs out of the sport, to keep it clean, to keep it safe so that nobody gets hurt. And as soon as someone fails a test, what's the first thing they say? Fantastic, thanks for finding this out. There's a cheat in our midst. Let's keep the sport safe. Do they fuck? They're like, let's bully them, let's bruise them, let's take them to court, let's stamp on top of them, let's just call out all the shit of the day that you can to possibly circumvent this. These drug testing agencies in that case aren't worth anything. They're not fit for purpose.
Well, this is the thing, mate. I mean, obviously, VADA have got a strict method of operations. They just do the testing, or they subcontract the testing out to whoever. Like in this example, it was UCAD, and then. But the thing is, they've not got any powers. They can only report their findings, and it's down to the adequate commission, shall we say, to kind of take the action. The problem for me, there's quite a few problems here. Firstly, they have spent months trying to get at the drug tests and handling and probably the chain of custody of the drug tests. When that had failed, because it's in the WBC statement, clearly states that they had no issue with the handling of said samples. So only in the last 3 weeks have they now managed to then divert onto these situations with the eggs. I didn't hear everything Ozzy was saying at the start of that, so I don't know if I'm going to be repeating all ground in that here, but I do agree with him with regards to the eggs being tested. You've got people looking at DEFRA's guidelines as well, regards to feeding chickens or hens in the UK. Why has no receipts, or the WBC even been asked that question? I mean, that's the other thing as well. The WBC have come out and says, the statement that is clear. Go read the statement. Your statement is fucking nothing, mate, because you're basically stating that the chain of custody was fine, but you haven't asked where the eggs came from and how this guy who's on a specific diet, literally 6 weeks. He gave that interview 6 weeks before he got that drug tested the first time that popped hot. So did he change his diet? We don't know. Diets get changed all the time. But one thing that also struck me as well when I was listening to Gabriel Montoya, actually, there's one thing I never heard at the time when the initial failed drug test came out, a couple of days before the fight was due to happen, that apparently the American Association of Boxing Commissions, which I believe is basically stationed in America, had told Eddie, under no circumstances will that fight go ahead, because if it does, you will never, ever, ever promote in America again. Because I think the commissions over there were pissed off with how he handled that Julio Cesar Chavez situation, regards to he refused a VADA test, so they refused to sanction him. I think it was in Las Vegas, and at the last minute they moved the fight down to Phoenix, Arizona, and Eddie had to then bring in Gabe Rosado on undercard because he was going to be the standing opponent if Chavez couldn't get licensed. And lo and behold, he gets licensed. And you see it all the time in that as well, but you never hear a fighter say, apart from Chael Sonnen, for example, says, yeah, I did it. They always try to blame shift. They put the onus of blame on, they try to put the blame on the testers, the board. They've put the blame on just about everybody apart from the one person himself, the fighter, right? And if you look at the British Board of Control's drug testing rules and regulations, it clearly states, Law 31, all licence holders agree to cooperate fully with the VADA code compliant anti-doping investigations or proceedings, whether conducted by the UK anti-doping or any other competent body. Right? And they also mention here about strict liability. Well, Conor Benn is no longer a licensee of the British Board of Control, so possibly that's the reason why he's no complying with their investigation, which then makes it kind of suitable for him, because he doesn't need to then present them with evidence that they're requesting. So it makes their job harder. So what are you going to do? You're going to sue the board? Yeah, we'll sue the board because they've not got money. They'll fucking bow over because we've got the cash to outspend them. Meanwhile, you've got Eddie running about, fucking trying to, basically make fights. We mentioned Dillian White against Oscar Rivas, for example. An absolute shit show of situation that was as well. It's okay when it's your guy. You'll fucking back him up to the hilt. But when it's the B side or a guy you've brought in, you would fuck him off immediately. He's a cheater. He should be banned for the sport for life. 4 years. There's nobody in this world believes the excuse you're coming out with, Eddie and Conor and all your fucking lawyers and that type of thing. All you've got here is lawyers who know how to get round about the regulations and that. As I say, you just put the fear of God. The board will cave on this. I guarantee it.
You're right, Andy.
Cave. And I'll tell you one thing. See if they were successful, actually, Ben suing him for, was it £3.5 million? I would hope Chris Eubank is on the back end here saying to say, well, wait a minute, by the way, I want a cut of your fucking money that you got off the board, because Chris Eubank done his job. He made weight twice and he was ready to fight. Right? He didn't pop positive. Ben did. Right? So if you're going to sue the board for loss of earnings and reputational damage, then you should be giving some fucking money to Chris Eubank, who done his job and was ready to fight. You didn't. You're a wee cheat, and nobody is buying what you're trying to fucking sell us right now. It's an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. This is where we're at with the sport now, by the way. And I tell you, if the stories about Eddie is bang on for what I heard, at least, not about him getting banned for America, what does that tell you, by the way?
Oh yeah.
What does that tell you? That you've actually got an American, the head of the American boxing commissioners telling you, right, this fight's not in a foreign country. This fight is not happening. Otherwise, you're not going to be fucking promoting in America ever again. He has run the risk too many times, Eddie. He's put too many noses out to join, and it's going to come home to fucking rue at one point. I can guarantee it. But in the meantime, they'll use the bully boy tactics, throw the cash at it, they're fancy lawyers, and eventually Conor Benn will be reinstated, and he can run about and tell us that he's innocent, proven innocent, sorry, that type of shit, and he can get on to Errol Spence, slag him off about his drink driving convictions, which, by the way, I love Smiddle's response to it, by the way, when he says, other than alcohol in the system via an official breathalyzer test, there was no evidence that he intentionally consumed alcohol. So I love that one. Brilliant, Smiddle. So yeah, this is where we're at. He's an entitled to be pricked. That's what he is, by the way.
It's you kind of hit on it with the way they manipulate and maneuver around, and the problem with boxing is there's no real rule of law. There's rule by lawyers, and that's how you end up with a corrupt sport.
And that's why guys like Liam Cameron ends up getting banned for 4 years for cocaine. I mean, cocaine's not a PED. You've got a guy look at.
I guess if it's in your water bottle when you're in the fucking corner, you're like,
I'll no hog it, but what I want to say is this: we mentioned about Canelo trying to prove his innocence. Ben's done none of that. Right, Canelo also, I believe, enrolled into a year-long testing program as part of his reinstatement. I believe Ben dropped out of the rankings because he hadn't enrolled in the drug testing. Re-enrolled, gets popped hot, gets kicked out. But then you've also as well, you've got situations. You've got Jean Pascal, for example, popped twice for EPO, right, a blood booster. Because he needs gas down the stretch like Pascal does, because he can't last the fucking pace. So he gets blood boosters, right? He never served a ban. He didn't go into fucking 24/7 drug testing, 365, none of that pish. Yet he got reinstated. It really doesn't matter. I mean, can you imagine like what happened to Eubank against Liam Smith had happened against Conor Benn, for example, and then it came out literally like after the fight they fucking popped positive, and Eubank had somehow sustained an injury that was maybe life altering. Motherfucker, man, the sport would be on the brink of getting banned. It's fucking kind of keep going on, man, because as I say, he's got caught because he lacks the IQ test. That's what it is. You get caught fucking with drugs these days, it's an IQ test you failed, not a fucking drugs test. And that's the reason why that Dr. Usman was brought in, was to try and find out why this shit was still in his system. Well,
Eddie Hearn's not bothered though. Let's have it right.
Of course
he's not bothered, because he would have happily gone on with this and just said, well, the board sanctioned it, no problem. Exactly. Do you remember like before the Dillian White Oscar Rivas fight, that failed test came out, I think it was 48 hours before fight night. They had statements prepared for the press conference after it. Dillian White was told, don't cut your hair, that sort of stuff. Yet, despite knowing about that bodge test, they still proceeded with that fight. He goes on camera, cried when that, I forget his name, but when that boxer died in the ring, and he's crying about it, that sort of stuff, saying it's so upsetting. Yet he has happily and would have happily seen one of his fighters go in after failing 2 tests against a guy who would have been essentially, from what we've seen, severely weight drained, by the way. And then he already allowed it once to happen as well with Dillian White against Oscar Rivas. And he can say, well, the board allowed it to go ahead. Well, actually, if you've got a duty of care for fighters, in your eyes, he's saying like, well, I wish the board did cancel it 6 weeks ago because we would have saved a fortune. You could have pulled that event yourself. You could have said, because of this, we're delaying it and we'll get this sorted. then we know it can go ahead. Instead, he saw the pound notes, he saw everything going, he saw the tickets had sold out, and he thought, we'll just carry on. Eubank's team agreed. I actually wonder if Eubank was properly told about this, because you know what we're like. Callum Sowland, you know what he's like as well. He loves a pound note, so he can sniff a load of beak up it as well. So yeah, you know exactly what it's like. And again, how bothered are these sort of people? How bothered are they? In my opinion, they don't give a toss whatsoever. It's all about money, it's all about profits, and it's all about being high profile. And for Ben, you nailed it right. He's self-entitled. The way he's coming across, it's like, spoilt brat, throwing his toys out the pram, and he doesn't like the fact that people are having a go at him for what he's done. And like I said, this reason, I'd love to know what is in this 270-page dossier, by the way. Ultimately, prove where you got the eggs from. They'll go away, go and test the eggs, and if the eggs come back and they're riddled with fucking clomiphene, fair dues. You've got an argument, but you're fucking fucked if they don't. Because I tell you what, you're not telling me that they've just botched, a batch of eggs that over a period of time that you've just eaten, and that's it. And then they decided, no, we're going to go a different route now. We're going to feed our chickens different and, to provide better eggs. How the fuck? Like I said, people have looked at the DEFRA rulings, and I'm 99.9% sure that is banned over here. It's not allowed. So I'd love to see this. I would love to see this document. Again, they spoke about all the time, the British boxing, they're nailing the board, yet they then go, well, they're not involved. This is a legal battle with the WBC. This is not with the board. Well, actually, if you're that bothered about everything, you're that innocent, you'd have a queue and just say, right, guys, line up, and we'll get you all involved, and we'll get this all sorted once and for all. Instead, what you're going to do is start the process again. Instead, no, you'll be chucking your money about, and ultimately it'll be bully boy tactics of trying to pressure the board. They'll see their arse because they've not got £3 million to spare on that, and that'll be it. It'll be done and dusted, and it'll all be forgotten about. It's a joke, and like you said, it's an absolute disgrace. The way like I said, it's self-entitled, and like I said, I put them all on the same page. Ben, Hearn, they're all up there. They're all exactly the same. They don't give a toss.
Don't give a toss. Conor Benn, he's banged to rights. Guilty, we say, guilty on the Asylum. Let's move on to the action for next weekend.
The B sample that.
I don't know where the B sample is. I'll tell you what, Andy, they're going to need a B sample after these boys in the ring at the moment. Have you caught up with Macabu Jack yet? I'm about 50 seconds into my stream, my pay-per-view stream, sorry, that I paid for earlier. What are you seeing so far?
You didn't pay for that, did you?
Of course I did. All above board
I'd say Badu Jack's 2 up.
Well, I've only just turned it on, mate. I'm on round 2, 40 seconds left in round 2 just now. Looks like, Jack's just manoeuvring around about the ring. Maccabi just popping jabs. Nothing really to kind of get writing home about just now.
Yeah, nothing so far. About 25 seconds to go. We'll keep an eye on that one for you. Sticking with you, Andy. 2 lesser spotted heavyweights return into action next weekend on Friday evening.
What? Steve, we haven't even talked about the Golden Boy card on Thursday or the Pro Box TV card from Wednesday.
Oh, sorry.
I'll give the floor to Matty then.
Go ahead.
I invested so much time into watching these fights, and
we know all about your investments.
I tell you, it's
no Floyd Mayweather smart investments anyway.
Yeah, I enjoyed another decent card from Pro Box TV on Wednesday night. Remember, alternating Wednesdays in 2 weeks' time or a week and a half, they're going to be back in Mexico for Juan Manuel Marquez's card. But the main event, Manuel Gallegos going to a draw over a majority draw with Richard Van Sicklen. I thought Van Sicklen won this fight, Steve. I don't know if you caught this card. I thought that he was landing the cleaner shots down the stretch, and every time it seemed like he was like tiring out. He was just able to pull off a good combination and set Gallegos back on his heels, who just never seemed to have the oomph to really corner Van Sicklen, who's really rising up. I think that was a 168-pound fight, and kind of impressed with this guy. I enjoyed that fight quite a bit, actually. Let's see here. There also Daryl Valsant winning unanimous decision over Lucas De Abreu. He looks to be a decent enough prospect. I think I kind of enjoyed that one. But for me, I think if I was to say that there was a prospect on there who I'm really keeping an eye on, it's going to be Najee Lopez. This dude is a tank. He's apparently working his way down to super middleweight from cruiserweight, and he's just huge. Unanimous decision over Christian Fabian Rios, who's been the distance with a number of decent fighters. But I'm going to be watching Najee Lopez. This kid, I think there's something to him. Over 6 rounds. The only issue with this one, if I recall, or it might have been the Abreu fight, it was a 6-rounder that was supposed to be an 8-rounder, and the fighter that lost was very, very pissed off when they were getting ready to announce after 6 rounds. So it seems like they're a little disorganized at times down there. But these cards are decent, Steve. I'm enjoying these Wednesday cards from ProBox. Definitely a good one that they put up this week. And then over on DAZN on Thursday, we had a good card that was headlined about right underneath the headliner. Flores against Gonzalez. Flores coming in undefeated. Gonzalez, one of them Venezuelans with a huge undefeated record, coming in 25-2 or 25-1 at the time. All wins by way of knockout. And it was a good kind of a good back and forth fight. I thought it was very, very entertaining. The kind of fight where a young fighter definitely gets a lot of experience in that one. So these are some decent middle of the week cards that are coming in there. You had, I believe his name is Scrappy Ramirez was the headliner on that one. He's a 112-pound fighter.
Scrappy Ramirez, did you say?
Yeah, from the Los Angeles area. He's a good fighter. I think it was Ramirez. They have trying to go through my notes and I didn't take any. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to start taking. Yeah, John Scrappy Ramirez. I was right. I remember his name. Yeah, the first time he went the distance over 10 over Luis Padilla. Good 112-pound fighter. He puts his punches together really well. He's got good footwork. He can bang a bit. He just had a really tough opponent in there. But considering they're both on DAZN, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the line you're going to see him in there against Bam. They're definitely building up that talent at the bottom of that one. But also there was a really good fight on that one between Villalobos and I believe her last name was Lundermilk. A 6-round chick fight, and they were just beating the shit out of each other. Steve, I don't know if you caught the clip that I posted in the Nutters group, but these chicks were going to war. And if for some reason you wander over to DAZN, go ahead and watch that 6-round chick fight, man. It was good entertainment. I'm not saying either of them are world beaters, but when you see a mom of 3 from Albuquerque, New Mexico, going in there and just fucking swinging for the fences, you got to give her some love. So good fight on that one. Nice for the middle of the week. I don't expect much, but particularly those ProBox TV cards are entertaining.
Yeah, I do like the Pro Box ones. I didn't catch this one this weekend or realise about the DAZN one. I know there was a card in Canada. I didn't see that either. And Triller, the lesser spotted Triller, put on a show during the week as well. Didn't look like much cop, so I gave that a miss. As I was mentioning to you, Andy, a couple of heavyweights returning to action this weekend. Murat Gassiev, 29-1, the one defeat to Alexander Usyk, is going in against 20-0 with 16 knockouts. Mike Balagun.
In Armenia as well.
In Armenia on Friday night, one night before, Ajit Kabayel, some near 5.5 years since he beat Derek Chisora, is fighting for the vacant European title against Agron Smakichi. What can we expect from both of these guys, Andy? I want to see them active mainly. Stick them in against each other if they win.
Well, Kabayel's fighting for a title that he actually vacated. So fuck.
That's what I thought. He was European champion before, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm saying he held the last time I can recall he had beat Chisora, you say 5 years ago, then he went into fucking hibernation. And he was still European champion for a long time, I believe. Then he obviously must have vacated the belt. I don't know if he's even fought any time recently in the last year or so. Maybe he has, but I've been under the radar. Gaziev, I mean, he's probably struggling for opponents and that as well, isn't he? If he's not going to, obviously there's a reason why that fight's happened in Armenia, I suppose. It would be easier for is his opponent American by any chance? No, where's his opponent from? Yeah, he's an American, so that's probably the only place he's been able to fight. Actually, is Armenia. I dare say Gaziev will knock him out early doors. He's not really been up to much apart from knocking out bums that he's been facing at heavyweight and that. So yeah, lesser known, so to speak. Talking about heavyweights now, I've just seen Mike Tyson getting interviewed here You ever notice he's sounding very, very, he's got a lot of clarity actually when he's talking. So he's not managed to get his bag of weed into it or his edibles into Saudi Arabia and that.
I think he looks in decent shape, because he was getting a bit fat at one time, wasn't he?
He is. He's been training pretty well in that, mate. But I'm just looking at this. Macabu's been laying it on him a little bit in that third round, in it, the fourth, and he's getting some body shots in here and some heavy shots to the head. So,
well, that's how Adonis Stevenson turned the fight. Do you remember against Jack? He was struggling badly, and then he landed that big body shot in about the 9th, and then he sort of turned it round for the draw. I think it ended up in the end, or Stevenson maybe.
I forgot they fought each other. Yeah. Jesus Christ!
It was a big body shot, wasn't it? The big left hand to the body from Stevenson that turned that fight. And
Macabu's just been badly dropped though now.
Oh,
really?
I haven't got that far. There we are. It's all happening. Not on my stream. Not just
we should have thought about that. The fact that fucking Tony dropped him fucking 6-7 years ago. And
see it now. Oh, yeah, he's done a little twizzle and all on the neck. Oh, God, that doesn't look too good. Hopefully he's all right.
I've not got up to you, but it's round. Oh, geez, there we go.
Fourth, yeah. This will do well for the people listening on Wednesday afternoon.
Right. Dropped with 1 minute to go in round 4. Up at the count of 6.
Yeah.
Legs seem solid enough at least.
Oh, he's got Jack down now.
What?
I'm only joking. Only joking.
I'm like, I could be watching this. This was like talking to you fucks.
This is like the night that Amir Khan was fighting Sammy Vargas, or I think it was, and then
Warrington Lara.
We were all behind. So I think I was the only person that was actually like on real time.
Just said ooh, and then 10 seconds later, woo.
That pissed me off.
I was screaming like, "What the fuck is
ruining the fight
doing here, man?"
It doesn't work. Mate, you love a DAZN card. Angel Fierro. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here. On next Saturday, the 4th of March. Angel Fierro, 21-2. WBO, NABO lightweight title against Eduardo Estella from Mexico, Kevin Rooney Jr. It's Eddie Hearn promoting this. Any interest, Matty? Do you even know it's happening?
I think I remember seeing that as happening, but all of my focus has been on Magsayo versus Figueroa. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. Figueroa is a decent enough fighter. For some reason, I think he was in there with Burgos. Might have.
Yep, he was.
Did he go to a draw with Burgos, or?
He has a draw on his record. I think that was either Burgos or one of the other. Yeah, I think it was actually. I've come out of his record now.
Yeah, and I mean, so you got to think about Burgos at his age. I mean, he's still giving people a good challenge and stuff like that. But so you got to have your doubts about Fierro on that one alone. But we'll see. We don't really know what his opponent's going to bring to the table. But if an old Burgos is giving you a hard time, young guy who's got a little bit about him, it could very well upset the apple cart.
You might well do. Coming back to domestic front, Aussie, next Saturday evening in Newcastle. Hopefully this is televised or YouTubed or streamed or something, because this is actually a really good card. Headlined by Lewis Ritson against O'Hara Davis, 2 losses apiece on their respective records. Thomas Patrick Ward, he has the strangest record in British boxing. He's 33-0-1 now. I remember him turning up on Showtime about 7 years ago. He's fighting against an unbeaten guy, Otabek Kolmatov. Lee McGregor, another one who fell off the radar. After that fight with Cash Farouk, he's going in an 8-rounder now against this Alexis Cabore. Not sure what's happening with him. And Stephen Cairns, the Irish takeovers on the undercard as well. Good Phil Jeffries show this. Do we know anything about TV? Any thoughts on the main event?
I'm sure I saw something that if it doesn't get picked up last minute by a TV channel, that Boxing Social are going to stream it.
Okay.
On their YouTube channel, or if it's not Boxing Social, it's one of the other ones.
Boxing
I can't
Asylum.
remember. Was it? Well, yeah, we're open to offers. Open to offers. Happy to work.
On our delayed streams.
Absolutely, yeah. You never know. I'm sure we can get up there. We can speak to Hobson and get his crew up there. From the car park to help us set up the streams. But no, very good main event. This was initially a Probellum card. And I think has since been taken over by Phil Jeffries. Of Probellum have just disappeared into the wilderness. I assume it's still going on. Not heard much about it, in all honesty, in terms of build up. But the main event itself, particularly up north, sells itself. Lewis Ritson, O'Hara Davis. It's a fight I'll probably predict. Well, I think O'Hara Davis will win, and I think he'll stop Lewis Ritson as well.
I agree.
Ritson. Again, I remember when he, like I said, burst on the scene, but, he signed with Matchroom and was blitzing all these domestic, lightweights, and then kind of got somewhat found out a little bit against Francesco Patera, bounced back, beat Robbie Davis Jr., got a terrible gift against Miguel Vasquez, and then, was banged out off Matias-Ponce, who we were speaking about before. He's had a couple of fights since, beat last time out, I think it was Zlatakarnin that he beat on points.
Yes.
Zlatakarnin, was basically just a shadow, was washed really. O'Hara Davis has been really weird one. He won that golden contract, this big lucrative deal never really appeared, and now he's essentially continuing in the away corner. I think Davis has made a lot of his dough already, and he's just investing in it in property. He'll be getting handsomely paid for this, no doubt. And I think it's a fight that he'll win and win well. The undercard, like you say, Thomas Patrick Ward, I don't really know what he's doing because, like you say, he had a 6-rounder last time out. He is a fantastic talent, by the way. He's really, really talented, has good skills, knows what he's doing. He just lacks a dig. He can't punch really, from in all honesty, at a top level perspective. He just can't dig. And it's a shame because I think if he had a bit of power about him, he'd be a problem because he's got really good skills. But I just think at the top level against, a good fighter, he is going to struggle. I'm not sure I don't know anything about this opponent. He's 10-0, 9 KOs.
Isn't Ward top 10 in a number of the sanctioning bodies?
He's highly ranked by the IBF. I know that, really highly ranked. I'm sure at one point he was lined up for a world title eliminator. I want to say last time out that fight with that Gregorian was some sort of eliminator or something like that. He's been on the scene for ages. He's got no backing whatsoever. Not Gregorian, sorry, that was that Otabek Kolmatov's opponent. Oh bloody hell, who was it? I think Padilla. Sorry, I think the Padilla fight was for some sort of like ranking belt. I think I can't remember, but yeah, he's highly ranked by pretty much everybody. And yeah, I don't really know what to expect. I don't know anything about the opponent. If you were to bet on anything, Ward decision is usually nailed on because that's the only way he wins. But yeah, I think he needs like a big fight. He's got one of the most bizarre records, as Steve said, in British boxing. Lee McGregor finally back on the scene as well. Drew with that guy who beat Gamal Yafai actually in his last fight. Again, not boxed in over a year. And again, just a really disappointing, since he, for me, got a gift against Cash Farouk. Farouk has obviously, since retired. He's had, wins against Ryan Walker, Karen Guerfi, and that Vincent Legrand. And then obviously drew with Diego Ruiz. And then just went missing. Not sure why. Not sure if he's had personal problems. I don't know. But it's good to see him back out. Fingers crossed he is fighting. We know BoxRec isn't always up to date, so we'll see what the card is next weekend. And then, the rest is very much made up of, prospects, young guys. Adam Cope on there, I think he's quite well supported up in Newcastle. I want to say he's an area champion. I think he beat Northern champion, beat Jordan Ellison a couple of fights ago. As you mentioned, Irish Stephen Cairns, The Takeover. 2 or 3 other guys. So, decent little card, to be honest. Like we said, I think we'll definitely see it via some sort of YouTube channel, which is good, particularly for the main event. If I wasn't to see any of the undercard, I wouldn't be disappointed. But the Ritson Davis fight is definitely one I want to see. And it's one of those that I don't really think can not be exciting. Ritson has got one way of fighting. Davis can be a little negative, but I think if a fighter tries to put it on him, it suits him as well. Ritson's not the biggest of punchers, so Davis doesn't need to worry about that. And I think it might end badly for Lewis Ritson. I think he'll end up knocked out in the second half of the fight.
Yeah, I agree, Andy. I'm going for, O'Hara Davis around round 11 or something. He's got long arms. He's very awkward to fight. At a certain level, he's going to get beaten, but he's a bit of a banger as well. And he's a good fighter. I think he'll have too much for Ritson there, Andy. Decent enough domestic card next Saturday evening. What are you thinking? Ritson, O'Hara Davis, Andy, any thoughts?
Sorry, mate, I was chatting away to myself.
I did notice the curry from his lips.
Oh, it was good, mate. I was inhaling that like a motherfucker. I swear to God. But I was worrying though, because in case like a cough, hiccup, and fatigue at the same time because of the cooking came out. But Lee McGregor, I don't know what's been happening there. Before he's not fought in well over a year. I know his missus had a kid not that long ago. Maybe it was like over a year ago, and I know one opponent had fell through. I think it might have been one. It was meant to happen with one of Josh Taylor's cards. I can't remember, but and he's obviously vacated the belts and that as well. So I don't know if the weight is now an issue as well. So that's all I can think about that one. Yeah, I agree about Davis. I think he will get to Ritson, probably stop him late. As you say, he's awkward. Although he can be got at Davis, to be fair, but I don't think Ritson's got the tools to get to him. Don't know anything about the guy that Patrick Ward's fighting, but he's a Uzbek, isn't he? So he's likely to be semi-decent at least. So we just don't know what we're going to get with that one. So
we just don't know, do you, with them boys sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes you'll get a great one, sometimes you'll get an average one. Just a bit like Ukrainians and that as well. A bit like that Ukrainian fought last week. What was his name? The heavyweight guy.
Oh, Faust, Victor Vykhorst.
Is that him? Aye. Well, the one that kind of expected to do pretty decent things, but then didn't really kind of do much, to be fair. So yeah, it's a decent card, aye. But would you say Oz it was getting Boxing Socials picking it up? Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. We're not sure.
I'm not sure if it is them. I want to say, is there is it Boxing UK who were northeast based and they travel down? I want to say it's them who'll be streaming it, not Boxing Social. Actually, I want to say if it's going to happen, it's going to go on Boxing UK because I think they are northeast based. Do a bit of work with Phil Jeffries as well, and good fair play to the lads if they can get that. If there's no UK TV. Utilising their relationships, able to show it for people. It is a fact that people want to see. So, yeah, pretty sure it is Boxing UK that it's going to appear on.
Yep, there you go. Ritson against O'Hara Davis. Rappy Mob Kelly's jumped in on the chat here. Badu Jack's in the ring against Makabu at the moment. The way the time is running along here, Rob, it looks like the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight is going to be going on during Bellew of the week. I think there's no more fitting a place for it.
Well, basically, I wanted the title of the show changed to Jake Paul Tommy Fury Boxing Asylum Fight Companion to try and bring in some of this traffic. You know what I mean? I had no intentions of fucking doing a watch along, but we could have get my comments along the way, or our comments along the way, rather. But yeah, fucking hell, who knows what's going to happen in? Well, the money's on the draw in the Jack fight anyway. Surely between Makabu and Badu Jack, that's logged for a draw. But the other one, the main event, could be a draw as well. Something tells me, fucking all is not what it seems.
You're so cynical, Robert.
I know what's happened to me.
Did you manage, Rob, just quickly to catch anything over the weekend? Matias-Ponce was a decent enough scrap for as long as it lasted.
Yep. I thought you were called Matias-Ponce. No,
joke earlier.
I really have to start trying to get on from the start. Yeah, cracking fight. Really like Matias. Chris Puncher showed a bit of balls as well. Was ready to go and mix it up. Ponce was coming to try and take his fucking head off in the first round. And it's like he weathered the storm and gave him a bit of his own medicine and ultimately made him do a no mass. And he's fucking put himself in that 140 division is fucking on fire, by the way. Absolutely on fire. And he's put himself in there now for in against any of them. They're saying prograde for him next. That's a cracking fight if Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez are going to be dance partners for each other. Why not let Prograde out against? That's a real fucking test. I'm not sure at Prograde at this stage of his career if that's exactly the fight he wants. It's a bit high risk, low reward, isn't it? But cracking fight that'd be between the two of them two. Actually, him versus Ramirez would be pretty good as well. But yeah, really liked it. Really, fight really delivered. Under fucking stated fight, to be honest with you. Definitely a hardcore fight. Like, not too many casuals are picking up on those guys' names, but he's announced himself in the 140 division now, Matias. So I'd like to see him again. What else was on this weekend? I don't think I caught much else, to be honest with you.
No, that was pretty much it. Rigo going to win on Friday night, but other than that, Rob,
KO1 from the God, Rigo. Good to see him back at 86 years of age. That was one of the fucking saddest days ever on the pod, man. After that Lomachenko Rigo fight, I was rooting for him. Even though I kind of felt he'd lose, I never felt he'd lose like that. And it was a tough one to take. So good to see Rigo on the comeback trail. I tell you what, fucking eggs are the enemy of boxing, aren't they? Rigo's fucking they're either failing you for dope tests or blowing up in your face. It's fucking, you can't win with the eggs, like. So fucking yeah. So fuck all else, nothing else. I saw some bit of sport on today as well. I took it in, a little small bit of sport going on as well. Anyone see it? Oh no, nobody saw it. Oh, just me.
Floyd Mayweather? No.
Floyd Mayweather. I actually saw the fucking Floyd Mayweather Jammers fight, didn't I? When I was going around the block, I stuck it on Facebook.
Did you watch it?
Oh man, absolute car crash. Floyd was wearing a pair of Union Jack trunks. There wasn't a sinner in the stadium. He was fat. I thought it was Alfredo Morelos for the first fucking half an hour. He's up on the ring apron. He's out talking to Conlon. Poor Chalmers, like Floyd. I tell you what, right? Floyd's actually a bit of a bastard, man. Like I saw a footage of him recently. No, yeah, I saw him spar a guy, another YouTuber who never had a fight, and he fucking sparred him and gave him verbals throughout the whole fucking fight, and was hitting him with some like prime Mayweather check left hooks along the way. He's a right bastard altogether. So he's beating up poor Aaron Chalmers with the green arm bandit in front of fucking nobody. Sonny Edwards rocked up. Turns up on comms after somebody tried to say I don't know if anyone saw. I'm sure we get to it in Belly of the Week. I don't know if anyone saw the fight between reality stars Natalie Nunn and Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee now would be eclipsing Obanov and Baumgartner in the look stakes, but can't fight a lick. And I think she was a bit drunk, so she got the fucking head boxed off her. Your man, the commentator on Zeus Network, tried to go to Johnny Nelson, who somehow fucking ended up there, and said, "What a fight, Johnny! Did you see that fight? What a fight!" And Johnny Nelson, even Mr. Company, Ultimate Company Man 101, he couldn't even hold a straight face. He just burst there laughing. Was like, I don't know what the fuck that was, basically. So next minute, we rock up with Sonny Edwards. He's not really dressed like a commentator, just has a kind of an anorak on him. And they're like, "It's the great Sonny Edwards, world champion. What did you think of that?" And he was like, "Well, my missus is a big fan of these reality TV stars, and I tried to get free tickets for this fight, and they told me that they weren't going to give them to me unless I turned up on comms." And he goes, "And I'm not even joking."
He just puts it out there like, yeah, I'm here because my wife wanted to be here. And
so fucking yeah. So fucking Floyd and Aaron Chalmers, Aaron going the whole 8 with the and on top of that, it has to be Bellew, but I can't fucking hold it. On top of that, the broadcasters and the graphics guys thought the fucking fight was 6 rounds. They had the graphic 5 of 6, and then it gets to the 6th round. They're like, "And this fight's just going to keep going." Well, we thought it was 6, but it's going to be 8 rounds after all. So Zeus Network are off to a flyer. They're definitely going to rival BLK Prime in the fucking stakes. So,
oh my gosh, sounds like fun. Rob having fun on a no Frank Buglioni, but a bit of Floyd Mayweather and Aaron Chalmers on a Saturday night. I'm sorry I missed it. No, it sounds quite good. People falling off stools and all. Matty, I feel like I should hand over to you for the Figueroa Magsayo fight, because it sounds like something that's going to be on the prediction league. Am I right?
Yeah, you'd be correct on that one, Steve. And it's interesting on this one. I'm curious where everyone's going on this. Because I feel so strongly about Figueroa, so I should probably tell you Magsayo's going to win, right? But the over-under on this fight is 10.5 rounds. With you getting extra juice going on the under. So I'm kind of surprised on that one. Is anyone on the panel not going Figueroa by knockout before I proceed?
I was gonna go Figueroa on points, to be honest with you.
Okay, and Rob just left.
He's had enough. He's no interest in this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have a little banner on the fight before we get to the prediction itself, but I'm interested you said points on that one. He's just, I don't know, Steve, he was already such a good puncher, a good banger, a good inside fighter, great pressure at 122, and he just seems more filled out at 126. I don't think he's one of those guys who's going to be hurt in the power category moving up. I think he's going to be more of a tank.
Yeah, quite possibly. He might well be. I don't know. I think Magsayo's sturdy enough. He's not the greatest fighter in the world, but I think he's shown over time that he can last the distance against decent enough guys. Obviously, no one who puts the pressure onto head and especially to body as someone as physically big, especially at this new weight, as you mentioned, as Figueroa is going to be. But Saya was giving Magsayo a tough fight before he knocked him out. I know he had the draw with Figueroa, but there was extenuating circumstances to that. But I just think Magsayo's got enough about him to hang in there, to be honest. I'm going for Figueroa on points if I have to pick. So yeah, that's my thing.
I don't know. It's I'm feeling the Figueroa by knockout, and the only way I'd go, Andy, kind of where I kind of lean on this one too is you kind of saw as Magsayo picked up his title against a one-armed Gary Russell Jr. and kind of did it by the skin of his teeth, and then he got beaten out pretty easily by Ray Vargas. So I don't think we've seen him in against a real puncher at this point in time. And his world title victory comes with all sorts of question marks. I think we know a whole lot more about Figueroa than Magsayo. What do you think, Andy? Or did you go?
I'm picking Figueroa, mate. I think he'll stop him late. Again, it'll really depend on how well Magsayo can put up with the pressure. He's going to have to kind of stand his ground at times and that as well. I don't think he hits hard enough, and I know he's sturdy enough. He's a decent fighter, but he's also been dropped a number of times in his career. Especially early, he was dropped, I know for a fact, early in his career and that. So you just don't know if it is a wee bit of an issue there with his chin, or maybe it's just a balance issue. But he's a decent fighter. But I agree with what you said there about the Russell fight. I seem to recall that being not so much in the trenches and that, but you had to kind of dig deep and go the distance and that and try and pull it out.
Well, and it was against the guy with one arm too. All he had to set up his work off of one side, and he couldn't even really pull it off fully.
I think he was a jab. I think that's all Russell really had for the whole fight, a jab and the left hook possibly. But I can't recall the Ray Vargas fight, unfortunately, thankfully, because
you blocked out most of his fights from there.
Yeah, but yeah, I think based on Figueroa, just off what I've seen of him as well. I mean, he gave Fulton all he could handle in that as well, and Fulton had to use his skills, didn't he, off the ropes, counter punching, and just basically even have to hold his feet as well and bang it out from time to time. So I think I could see it being something similar to that. I could see Magsayo having to do that as well, but he's just not got the skills compared to Fulton to work himself, run about that ring, especially think himself out. I think possibly he might get dragged into a bit of a firefight as well, maybe down the stretch as he gets tired and that possibly. So I'm going to go for Figueroa by late stoppage.
Interesting. I don't know, Oz. For me, I look at the style fights on the style matchup on this one, dude, and I just personally feel like I think this one is going to deliver more so than the way that people thought that Matias against Ponce was going to deliver. I just feel like this is a great style matchup. What are you thinking, Oz? Or did he go away?
Off throwing up some eggs, I think.
Man, I tell you, Rob just disappears. Oz doesn't pay attention. And Andy makes fart sounds in the back.
You're going to be getting a complex here, Matt.
That wasn't a fart sound, mate. That was a legit fart sound. That's that coming back in the fight rapidly. I've even had it in my belly for an hour.
That's his Chinese kicking in.
That was Chinese, mate.
This is what we're working. This is what we're working with, Steve. It's a real struggle here. What else is on that card?
Amilcar Vidal. Me and Andy have spoke about him before.
Yeah.
He's quite exciting, but we said before, Andy, didn't we? There's maybe a reason. He was in the States a couple of fights, and then after the Asylum fight, he went back out to Argentina for a couple and out to Uruguay. And it's maybe like they got fed up with him. The PBC seem to have brought him back now in a chief support, and the kid he's in against only 19. He's 13-0 with 11 knockouts, so that could be a decent firefight between the two. Although that Garcia, Andy, I'm not familiar with him, but I'm more familiar with Vidal's work.
I'm more familiar with Vidal. I don't think I've seen this other guy, to be fair. 19-year-old southpaw, 6 feet, 13-0, 11 knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen of Vidal in that, I'm not saying he's crap, but he's decent, but I just think he's been slightly overhyped. At this point in his career, he's need to get fucking headways, actually, because he's not really kind of fought top level. You mentioned the Liam fight. I think he had struggles in that fight.
Yeah.
27 at this point, 16-0, 12 knockouts. I think he's pretty tall for a middleweight. I don't know if he'd be better up at 168, so he's not going to dump the extra 8 pounds just to see if it maybe suit him. Because he's definitely got the height, he's got decent reach in that, and he's an okay boxer. But if he can't bang you out of there, I think he runs out of ideas pretty quick, to be fair. And I would not. I don't know anything about this guy he's fighting, so I'm going to be completely off with my prediction. But I would not be surprised if this kid is gutty enough and he's got decent ability about him. I could maybe see this fight go the distance, possibly. I would not be surprised. That said, 19-year-old kid and that at the same time, so you just don't know if he's got the experience and might end up getting banged out, because he is fighting a full-grown man at the end of the day and that as well. So Just need to wait to see. But I'm to say Vidal is definitely a work in progress. But I think there comes a time when you say to yourself, "Well, when do we say that the work in progress is no longer working?" Because you say he's up at his late 20s now. I know he's maybe he's not entered his prime yet, but I've not seen anything yet to suggest that he's going to be knocking on the door at middleweight or even 168 for titles. To be fair, at this point, anyway.
Other than that, Matty, I was just going to say Jarrett Hurd. He'll probably be the third fighter on
Oh,
the
that's
card.
right. He's coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting this Jose Resendez. I think it's around middleweight. Resendez has been as high as maybe light heavyweight in the past, but he lost to that Marcos Hernandez. So I don't have much hopes for this. But Hurd, I don't know, man. He doesn't fill me with confidence. He takes a lot of shots, as we know, but he's kind of been looking a little bit, not so much washed, but his career is definitely on the skid. So this could be an interesting firefight for as long as it lasts.
He needs to get some confidence back, man. I miss that Hurd that just imposed himself on people and went to
Tony
town.
Harrison and all, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that guy back, and I know promotional shit aside, like the fight that's always sounded like it would be just a banger in my head is Munguia against Hurd, and I still want to see that fight at some point in time. It's something I've thought about quite a bit.
Munguia against anybody would be nice.
Yeah. Just we see Munguia against people often, Steve. They just happen to be cab drivers, etc., never the people that you would like.
Yeah.
But hey, Rob and Oz are both back. Fantastic.
Go ahead.
So let's
Jack's
make this,
fucking lobbing left hooks here like a prime Roy Jones. Fucking hell, man.
Let's make this official, and I'll do the randoms, even though we've all said a little bit here. All right. So we're starting out with Figueroa versus Magsayo. First up to pick is Steve.
Figueroa on points for me, please.
Figueroa points. All right, and next up, Andy.
Figueroa late stoppage, mate.
Figueroa stoppage. All right. And me. That's funny. The ones that were here talking about it. That's random. I'm also going Figueroa by stoppage. And I do think this is going to be. I just think this is going to be a great fight, Rob. It's a great style matchup. Where are you going?
Figueroa points for me, dude. Decision. I could see the stoppage, but I think Magasayo, whatever the fuck his name is, he can hang in there. I think he's a tough fighter, so I'm going to say he goes the distance.
If he can last, this fight should be an absolute killer. Like it to me, it just seems like one of those fights that it'd be good until it ends. And if it goes all 12, I think it could be a blast the entire way through. Oz, what way are you going?
I'm going to go Figueroa on points. And Makabu's just been dropped again as well in the 11th, early as well.
Jack's going to be a fucking 3-weight champion. Jesus Christ.
Someone said they're drawing, aren't they? Is it open scoring or something?
I've not heard. I'm not really watching it. You know, it's just on at the moment. But
all Jack's
got to do,
all Jack's got to do is circle to his left, and he stays with Makabu's left hand, which is the only shot he's looking to land. Is the power hand.
I'm disappointed with Jack. He's going to have to go down himself soon if he's going to get the draw.
To be fair.
So Makabu's done here. He looks, and his balance is terrible. He looks completely.
I thought that he looks a bit wonky, doesn't he? Like unsteady on his feet. I mean, from the first round, he looked like that.
Jack's landing bombs here, by the way.
Dude, isn't this quintessential Jack, though? He always outperforms when you don't think he's got it, and then when you think he's going to be a huge winner, he just fucking phones it in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'll be amazed if he doesn't.
Done to me, from what I can see.
Looks good.
He didn't like that body shot there, Makabu, straight to the pit of the stomach.
All right, so we had Davies versus Ritson is going to be the other ones on there, but you guys were talking about a bit earlier. Is anybody not going Davies by stoppage? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, interesting. Okay. So yeah, I was kind of leaning that way myself just because, Ritson kind of gets smacked up a bit, but I haven't really considered like how deep into the fight this might go. So I just give me an idea what you're thinking, kind of, Steve, and I'll try to set a line here on it.
On the stoppage round?
Yeah, What are you kind of thinking? Yeah,
11-ish.
Okay, yeah. Andy, what round are you thinking?
Yeah, I was going to say late, mate. I've not got a round as such, but I was going to say late.
Okay, Rob, when would you think that Davies might stop Ritson?
I don't know if he will, man, to be honest with you.
I just said does anybody not think Davies is going to win by stoppage?
But Matty, like, you have to understand, like, the percentage of stuff that you say on it's a high level of percent. Like, you say a lot of stuff. Like, I can't listen to fucking every bit of it. You know that way, like.
So are you going Davies by decision then?
No, Davies stoppage.
What? I almost want to travel to Ireland just to kick you in the fucking testicle and get on a plane and leave.
We'll join the fucking queue.
Bye.
We'll get an Airbnb.
Just don't pull up to him in front of you with your car, mate, and then fucking take off. You might lose that.
You bastard.
So what round do you think he might stop?
Eighth. I'm going to go for 8.
Oz, what round would you be thinking?
10th.
10th? All right. So I'm going to set the line at 9.5. So that would be a minute and a half into the 10th round.
Fuck you, man.
Wait, what a wank line that is. That's literally giving you a leeway of about 3 rounds tops.
Doesn't matter. Suck a dick. Over under.
Oh, I'm useless at this.
Jesus.
What are you going? Over what? Over how many?
9.5.
Fuck's sake. We could literally get a fight stopped with fucking cuts in the first 2 rounds or something.
Sure, that could happen in any fight.
Fuck me.
So what do you get there? You get 1 to 9, don't you?
9 and then the first half of 10. Is this
The
a
first
10?
half-
Hold on. Is this a 10 or a 12 round fight?
Oh,
It's
it's
good
a
shout.
12, isn't it?
Actually.
It must be a 12.
I would
surely.
assume it's 12. Yeah.
Yeah, it says on box record 12. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm fine with where I set it then. That hit me like a ton of bricks there. It would have really got your 11th round stoppage there, Steve.
Hi. Good job it's not on ESPN,
Yeah.
I suppose. Huh?
So you'd be getting all first 9 and then half of the 10th.
Oh, I'll.
Oh shit, man! Jack's going to stop. I'm here. I'm sure. My stream's a wee bit behind, but fuck me, man.
Oh, that's a huge shot by Jack. Huge.
I'm not there yet, mate. Wait now. I'm at
Done.
2:30.
Oh, that's a
Bad
huge
out.
shot, Jack. There, huge.
Bad out, Jack.
What round
Stopped
is it?
him.
It's the last round.
Wow.
I must be well behind my stream here.
Yeah, me too. He's hitting Jack with him almost. Oh, hang
2
on.
minutes,
He's
18
got caught. He's going right hand, left hook, right hand. Mark Lyson's jumping in. It's over.
Oh, that right hand, man.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Anytime you like ref Friday, he has stopped it. Fucking hell.
It just shows like how shot Maccabi is, because Jack last time out got an absolute gift. He's nowhere near a cruiserweight, and he's just stopped the fucking world champion.
So speaking of stopping,
That's
over
justice from a Tunu, by the way. That's what that is.
Over for me,
Yeah.
Matty. I'm going over.
Steve's going over. Thank you for just breaking it up. My God, these guys will take forever.
No, I'm gonna take under just on probability. I'll take the majority.
I suppose you've got 2/3 of the fight in your favour there. haven't you, by
Exactly.
doing
Yeah,
that?
I'll just do that on maths. Basically, I'll take because I get half the 10th as well. So,
But if Steve
Yeah,
was right, and
I'll-
he stops him in the 11th. Then
yeah, it's wrong.
I have an
It's
extra
fine,
point
yeah.
for being brave, Matty.
I'll tell you what. If you're the only one that goes goes over, and you get it, I'll give you a point.
Okay, thanks.
Whoa! Hang on. Can't just make rules up on the spot now to benefit.
We do, Oz. We just hop into the chat and throw picks out and all sorts of shit.
Tough game, Aussie. This, you know. I'm putting my neck on the line.
Fuck's sake, man. This
So
is some-
Andy,
this is some
over under.
corrupt bullshit. This is like
over under 9.5.
It's like the voting system in the US. That's what it's like.
Over under 9.5, Andy.
under.
Under. Rob, under.
He's gone,
Said
hasn't he?
8th.
Bob's gone. He's had enough.
Well, he said 8th, so I'm going with that. I'm actually going to go with you as on over, Steve, just so you don't get an extra point. Because fuck you.
Yeah, hang on. You don't get an extra point. That was just for me.
Nope, neither of us get an extra point because 2 of us went over.
Okay.
So there you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, if me and Ozzy get it right, man, we be able to get an
No, you
extra point as
don't.
well.
No, you
I'm
don't.
ready to go over like Robert Maxwell at the moment. This is going on and on, man.
You guys, I'm sitting here just like, and you guys talking about a fight that I'm not even watching. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But to be fair, I mean, if we keep drawing this out, we'll probably get to the completion of the fucking Fury and Paul fight. So I'll finally be able to fill out last week's form, and we'll know where everyone's at.
Tommy Fury's not even wrapped up yet, by the way. So
Jesus!
Is he
going to go on forever?
He's not even got his. I thought he had his wraps on at least.
No, I seen him kind of warming up there in between rounds. And that didn't even have his hand wraps on. It could be an old recording, possibly. Maybe it was on earlier in the night, but no, he didn't have his wraps.
Because I know the last clip it showed of Jake Paul. He had his wraps on. He was pretty much good to go, bar gloves. So surely he'd be wrapped on.
They said 9:30, and it's 5:02 now because this has gone on a bit. So hopefully they'll just get on with it, and we'll just watch it as we're on.
What do we think? What do we think will be next for Badu Jack? I can't see a rematch clause being in this for Makabu. Where do we think Badu Jack will go? Do you think Sky might try and get him over here for either Billum Smith or Richard Riakpo, maybe?
Aren't they supposed to be fighting in a rematch?
Oh, they are.
Yeah, Riakpo Jack would be a decent fight. Yeah, I wouldn't be averse to that.
I'd like.
By the way, Kovalev ranked 4th with the WBC at the cruiserweight.
I'd like to see Brandon
Kovalev.
Oh, that could be interesting. I'd like to see Brandon Glanton get a shot because I thought he beat David Light.
And another thing.
Well, no, he's not going to get a shot, is he? Because he lost to Light, and Light's going to fight a Coley now, isn't he? I think.
If one of the listeners could confirm this for me, but I'm pretty certain Matias Masternak announced his retirement about at least about a year ago. At least I'm sure. So he's still ranked 8th at the BBC. So fuck. Andrew Tate.
I think it wouldn't surprise me if Boxer go big and try and get Badu Jack for Richard Riakpo. You know.
Des doesn't think so. He says they'll not let Jack near Riakpo after this. Jack will get the Kiwi. Is that Opataya?
Oh, in a unification. Oh,
Opataya would beat the shit out of Jack, I think. That'd be a really good name for Opataya's resume. You go in with Bradis and Jack on your resume.
We don't know about Opataya yet, though, do we? We've only seen him in that one fight at home. I'm not saying he didn't look good because he did, but, you know, I don't know.
I disagree with Des there, by the way. I think Riakpo would beat Badu Jack. You know, let's have it right.
Look at this, man. Silly man's in the ring here handing out trainers' belts now. Fucking hell.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that was an absolute corpse just plodding around the ring in Makabu there. You know, I think Riakpo would have done Makabu in a round tonight, maybe 2. So I think Riakpo would beat Badu Jack. You know, he didn't look great either. He's not a fully fledged cruiserweight either. You know, Riakpo is huge. He's absolutely massive. So
maybe maybe Ozzy. Sorry, Des was saying it from the point of view of Jack's handlers won't let him anywhere near.
Oh, sorry. I looked at it the other way around. If that's the case, then apologies. I looked at it the other way as I thought he wouldn't. They wouldn't allow Riakpo near him, but money talks as well. I agree that they might go for Opataya, which fair dues. You know, that's a unification. That it'd be arguably one of the poorer unification fights, but if it happens, I've nothing against world champions boxing each other, and I can deal with that.
Okay, Steve, I'll tell you what. This you should be a very interested onlooker for the main event coming up here, because if Paul wins by decision, you've got a perfect week. If Paul wins by stoppage, Rob has a perfect week. And if Fury wins, well, Oz has a chance to blunt Rob's momentum and keep up with him somewhat. It's very interesting here. I am watching the
stuff in it, really.
My auntie had a cock. She be my uncle.
I'll tell you what. They've been making fucking sitcoms about this fucking prediction league for years to come. By
no, considering everything that's on Netflix, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they had that. Did you guys ever see that show, The League? It was from Canada, and it was a fantasy baseball league.
Oh yeah, it's up on my fucking favorites list.
Curb Your Enthusiasm about the over/under.
Jean Lajoie was on that. The guy that did the fucking show me your genitals and shit like that.
I can show you my genitals. The problem, mate.
You would love that song, actually, Andy. I'll send the link.
Oh, it's a song. Oh, glad it's
right. I think we're descending into farce. Is there anything else before we go on to Belly of the Week, and then we'll stick around for Paul
Descended.
The only way is up,
start off at-
Roberto.
We start
We're
off
looking
at
up at-
first. don't we?
No, I was like the Gad from his basement.
I think there might be a minimum weight title fight in the middle of the week. I think CP Knockout Freshmart might be defending his title. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm not interested in that. John Fisher's Chinese is way more than those guys combined. So, yeah, they're not for me.
Ozzy, it's funny you should mention that for episode 512. Rob's on the call, Matty. Andy and Steve.
I love it when the segues just write themselves, Steve.
John Fisher might as well
just got a chubby
slide in.
because of John Fisher stuff coming up here.
Slide in like a greasy prawn cracker into the belly of the week. It's John Fury. The mystery deepens as to why his cheat days and his weight loss, he's not losing any weight, unfortunately, John. The mystery deepens after seeing this.
Cheat like treat. I've looked forward to this all week. I've been good. I've been bloody good. But we've got a dish up now and we've got to eat. Let's have it. Bash. Chicken balls, prawn balls. Saturday night. This is what life's all about. But still got a few healthy choices. Not going mad. I've had 2 glasses of wine. And we haven't drunk all week. I'm quite light-headed. Bash. No holding back tonight. Roast chicken Chinese style. It's quite an healthy one, look. Bean shoots. Oh, look, we've got prawn in black bean. King prawn in black bean. Quite healthy as well. It's not a bad one. Treat like cheat. Oh, Singapore rice noodle. We'll have some of that. That's not too bad either. Not too much. I'm not a pig anymore. Oh, Kung Po prawn. Delicious. With the light batter on, unbelievable. Get it on there. Don't be shy. Oh, duck. I'm going to keep that in the dish. A little bit of charm in, then I'm ready to go. I've waited all week for this. What's missing? Curry sauce and the prawns, look. Schoolboy error. Pour curry sauce on me Kung Po prawns. But that won't worry because I'll mop it up with some chips. Bash!
Didn't we
Jesus Christ.
see that video already?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, pal. But someone needs to break the news to Big John that cheat day is supposed to be one cheat meal, not fucking cheat day. A cheat meal for every day of the week that you're going to eat at the same fucking time. Holy shit!
You're not trying to replace the 8,000 calories you didn't eat.
Look,
He's got bean sprouts, man. He's being healthy.
Yeah,
That's not too bad.
Look at the way he's trying to look at the way he's trying to justify it. You know, yeah. Oh, this is quite healthy. Yeah, this is quite healthy. As he proceeds to pour 2 litres of curry sauce all over it, and then goes, "I've made a mistake and put it over my Kung Po prawns, but I'll have some chips as well."
Mop it up with the chips. It's fucking. It's scary, man. Isn't it? Really? It's fucking.
It's like that saying, gents, he weighed in on Tuesday. He was £2 down, and he said that's given him a new mindset. So, you know, has he been good this week? Who knows? Weighing day tomorrow for Big John. My birthday. We could be celebrating. I'll be turning 31. He might drop 31 pounds. Who knows? He's been good this week.
Right.
He might drop.
Yeah.
I can't figure out like what his plan is with this. Like, is it like it's okay to have a plate of food that weighs more than a premature baby, but not enough food that it's more than a normal healthy baby? You gotta, it's that middle ground. Like,
I'll eat a baby.
I can guarantee you right now.
Nice bit of placenta.
Give me my baby back, baby back.
I can guarantee you right now, Matty, that Chinese order weighs more than a healthy fucking twins by. I can guarantee you. That's probably like quadruplets that thing fucking weighs, man.
Conjoined twins.
If that meal came out of your wife's snatch, she wouldn't be any fun for you anymore.
Imagine the smell.
This is gold.
You take it back and complain.
Oh, fucking 5 plates of fucking. Like, the people at It Starts Monday must be pulling their fucking hair out. Like, they're like, "When you get this fella off Twitter, man, I thought he was a fucking celebrity. Yeah, he's bringing people to the platform. Yeah, but he's going to lose his customers. Like, how the fuck can this fella be the face of losing weight? Jesus."
Here, I wonder if Big Boss Soldier had the same problem I had the night trying to get my curry through. I waited a fucking hour for it, man. Jesus Christ. As I says to Steve, man, I could report the cunts under the Trade Descriptions Act for fucking, because it might be fast food. Wait a fucking hour and a half for it.
I think everyone's on the It Starts Monday because it was 45 minutes of my fucking Chinese last night as well, and I'm only wanting one fucking really is cheat day. Fucking hell. Five plates of fucking Chinese for a cheat.
Can you imagine how much food they throw out if he doesn't order from them on that particular week?
Yeah, he's probably waking up in the middle of the night. Where, like, see when you get older, and allegedly men have got to get up and go for a piss during the middle of the night. He probably needs to get up during the middle of the night to go and get a bit of Chinese into him out the fucking fridge.
I'm drinking my protein drink, you curry sauce.
How bad? No, all jokes aside, the poor fella, like, how bad must he feel after eating that? Like, if I eat one fucking Chinese, the next day I'm a bit, oh Jesus, I'm a bit ropey after that. Like, that's fucking not 5 fucking plate. He must be fucking.
I can guarantee my arse will go down for a drink tomorrow morning and Arse takes the pan. Like, that's one curry. He's eating like fucking 4 or 5 in one night.
He had 4 main courses on the plate and another one on the side as his cheat day.
It's bad as well when it's boring off the sides, and it can't stay on the plate because he's got that much on it. And like I said, he's trying to justify it. This is quite healthy. This is quite healthy, mate. It's from a Chinese takeaway.
Yeah, none of it's healthy.
It's one plate of food, though. It's one plate. It's only one.
I bet any money the veggies for that fucking Chinese. I bet the delivery driver couldn't get access to the restaurant or the takeaway, so just left it in the fucking in the corridor next to the fucking building. Yeah. The cat's probably killed along and pissed in it or something like that. A couple of rats if I can run out of tap it.
Well, we know that weight loss is all about small steps. So, Big John, little tip for you. Put a smaller portion on your plate, go sit down, eat it, then get your fat ass back up and go put more food on your plate. And you can burn some calories in between and have the same amount of food. We're all in this together.
I've got to say, though,
I think you see the size of the glasses, though, he's drinking it.
I was going to say, it doesn't get boring watching it, though. That's the amusing thing. Like, it's the content that provides it, from his, his weekly weigh-ins to his cheat night, cheat day, more like. I think he went to a Wimpy one weekend for his cheat meals. So, yeah,
when does he have the cheat meal then? Does he have that on a Saturday and then weigh in on the Monday?
It varies. Well, he said last week when he maintained that he'd had a bad week due to being at work and on the road a lot, and he had a couple of cheat meals and things like that. Mate, if he took it seriously, he'd drop. Honestly, he could be dropping like £8-9 a week easy because he's got it to lose.
Weighing in on the Monday morning, then having a cheat meal on the Monday evening or something. You would imagine if he was being strategic about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Instead, he's sinking 2 ton of Chinese before 48 hours before his weigh-in, which doesn't help him. But
it's going to sit heavy on the belly at night, isn't it?
Harder to work out the points on Big John's diet than it is on the fucking prediction league. And that's fucking saying something.
The real over/under.
Oh gosh, yeah. Right. Let's move on then, shall we, from Big John Fisher. He may feature or may not, I can't remember. Here's one for you, Matty. IFL TV reporting, ahead of his grudge encounter with David Benavidez, Caleb Plant has bought the domain for davidbenavidez.com and turned it into his own website. Is this where boxing's heading?
I'm not the biggest Caleb
pattern that, isn't it? Like,
not the biggest
shit.
I'm not the biggest Caleb Plant fan, but this is a pretty solid troll. So you got to score 1 for the blackest man in boxing here.
But
that's quite amusing. That
they put it to Benavidez like on some interview, like, well, did you Caleb bought your domain? He was like, well, that's not fucking up my money. I don't care about that. And then Caleb tweeted out like, yeah, that's where you're getting your lawyers involved. This tough guy act is starting to fold. Is that a real indicator? Like, if someone fucking buys your web domain, that you're not a tough guy? I don't know. Like, where Caleb Plant's going with that. I don't fucking. It's going to be a flawed strategy if he gets it fucking ironed out, isn't it? Like, what we'll see.
That's where it's heading. Danny Young sent me one. I'm going to try and get it up, so to speak, on a Saturday evening if I can. Danny, I'll try my best. Here's one for you, Rob.
For better part of a decade.
Danny Young's been busy this week. he's on the pay-per-view tonight, his caller.
No fighting, is it?
No, he's doing a Prison Planet. Fucking
unrivaled research with that book.
Unrivaled. Fucking brilliant.
Good stuff there. The WBC have now ruled in their investigation into Conor Benn's positive drugs test that there is no concluding evidence he intentionally, knowingly ingested clomiphene. WBC accepted Benn's highly elevated consumption of eggs as reasonable explanation for positive tests, Rob. We've had our say on this. What do you think about Eggate?
Well, look, we knew it was coming, didn't we? Like, he was exuding a level of undeserved fucking arrogance for the last 6 to 7 weeks on social media. The whole thing is just a fucking embarrassment. The sport is an embarrassment. Eddie's an embarrassment. Conor Benn is an embarrassment. The WBC are a fucking embarrassment. The fucking BBOC are an embarrassment, and so are UCAD. This whole fucking thing has been a shambles, and like, in a way, I wish it hadn't been so public and such high profile thing in the sport, because we fucking knew that he wasn't going to face any punishment. We knew it. You know, Fury fucking ate a wild boar. Canelo ate fucking Mexican meat. Billy Joe Saunders had nasal spray. Dillian White's feeding his dog fucking steroids. And everybody's
Gerald Miller has to sit out for 2 fucking years.
Yeah, Gerald Miller's the only bannable man in boxing because he's not worth fucking his own weight his own considerable weight in fucking dollars. That's the only reason he didn't get a pass. Like, anybody who's a potential earner in boxing can do what the fuck they want, and we might as well just fucking let steroids fly and let them all fight to the fucking death. I mean, I've said it for years. I used to be appalled at this kind of thing, that the level of tolerance for fucking doping in boxing across the board from the powers that be is so fucking lax. Like, I never gave a fuck about Lance Armstrong, man. The fella had testicular cancer. He had one of his balls cut off. He was cycling up a hill faster than other lads while raising money for fucking cancer. Who gives a fuck, man? Let him cheat all he wants to. Usain Bolt, let him fucking inject the steroids up his arse if he wants to run fucking faster than fellas. But these fellas are trying to kill each other. You know what I mean? I don't think he was trying to fucking to reward fellas for fucking potentially ending people's lives in the ring. And we saw how bad Eubank looked out against Smith. What that fight might have played out like, who the fuck knows? But Conor Benn is back, and he's asking for Errol Spence. So let him fucking have it. That's another thing that's annoying the fuck out of me as well.
Justice, baby. That's justice.
You're not fucking getting the Errol Spence fight. Errol Spence is on PBC. When was the last time fucking Errol Spence fought that wasn't on a PBC roster? Not since fucking he beat Kell Brook is the answer to that one. So that fucking fight's never happened anyway. So it's easy for Conor Benn to be on Twitter chirping away at the likes of Errol Spence, knowing that he's not going to have to fucking fight him while he's really chasing the ghost of Manny Pacquiao in the background. Sports are fucking embarrassment, man.
I was going to say, he's more chance of fighting the fucking Easter Bunny than Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. He's an absolute joke.
Well, I'll tell you what, even Manny Pacquiao, even this version of Manny Pacquiao, and like, listen, this is the other thing. I see people on Twitter calling for fucking justice to be served by Manny Pacquiao. Well, in terms of, I don't know. It was that Manny was never fucking never caught for anything, but his relationship with Alex Ariza and the fucking the increase in the size of his fucking head might have been a indicator that he might have been squeaky clean either. So sport's been in the fucking toilet for years, man. Floyd and Manny, they were at it. Floyd had a therapeutic use exemption while Ariza was fucking lurking in the shadows and he was chopping trees. The whole fucking thing has been rotten for years. And it is actually at the point where you're just losing interest or caring about it. If nobody in the sport cares about it, why the fuck would we? Like, let them all fight. That's what I say.
They basically are. I think that's kind of what it comes down to at the end of the day. They have their shit in place, but at the end of the day, yeah, drug cheats are fighting drug cheats. It just is what it is.
Well, here's one we alluded to earlier, and it's on Belly of the Week as well. Callum put this up from GQ magazine. Interesting from April of last year. Ben says he rarely eats eggs and is vegan. Ozzy mentioned this earlier on. Now, eating loads of eggs is why he failed a PED test. Cheat, says Callum. I'm not saying necessarily endorsing that one, but there you go. Errol Spencer's gone in on him as well. Conor Nigel Benn, that's Conor himself, said, Errol, you've been talking the most, and well, I am reinstated by the WBC. I'll have you next. You worry about handling your drink driving convictions, wanker. And Errol says, drinks and ped, 2 different things. Difference, me and you, I owned up to my shit. You a cheat, just like yo daddy. Ooh, Andy's going in there, bit of a low blow.
That's one of my childhood idols to Nigel Benn. But
you mentioned it before.
It's the saying that goes, why the fuck are you clapping at Errol Spence? You know, who the fuck is he to be fucking calling out Errol Spence? You know, you'll get it next. Well, you fuck. If you're going to fucking fight him next, you begin Eddie on the phone and telling him make that Errol Spence fight. I'll go on the B side, but no, you don't do that.
Could you imagine what Errol Spence would do to him? Could you imagine?
Mate.
He would beat the fucking living shit out of fucking Conor Benn, man.
His defeat is going to become. This is going to be up there with like Anthony Fowler levels of fucking glee when he finally takes that L. You know, it's going to be fucking tremendous. It's going to be tremendous what's going to happen here. The Golden Goose has been protected at all costs. Eddie thinks he's got a superstar in his hands here, but at the end of the day, superstars are going to fight the superstars at the end of the day, and they're not going to do it. It doesn't happen these days. I really want to know, ultimately, what's going to happen with the British licence. If he's wanting to be fighting soon, it's not going to be happening anytime soon. I think the way they've done this with a lawsuit, after the board said that the strict liability was on Ben, they've still not seen any evidence that the WBC has seen, for example. And that next, like the day later, Ben says, "I'm going to sue the board." Get what's happening here, eh? Just trying to kind of get him the back down so he doesn't need to fucking show them anything. But at the end of the day, I suppose if you're applying to a private club to get a license, it's up to them to decide. We're a private member's body. We can decide who comes and goes. And you, son, are not going to get re-licensed. So there is that. It's just a fucking carnage, absolute mess. But what's been said, that if he just owned up to it, serve his ban, come back, and then that would be it. That would be it. But
that'll be it. What have we got here? Dominic threw this one in. Thunderdome. Remember Danny Mace from before, the baby-faced assassin? Her nickname is actually the Enforcer, and she was fighting against Sarah, the Pocket
More
Rocket
appropriate.
Higginson. And Danny came on Facebook. This was 2 years ago. Some unrivaled research from Dominic here. So the Enforcer says, "How freaking exciting is this Sarah Higginson? Honoured to be fighting such an amazing chick. You're an inspiration, mate. It's going to be awesome." Chicks with digs material here, I'm saying.
Oh, fucking it. By the way, is it just me, or she that had a hard paper round, or she be drinking too much fucking Mary down? Because that. What age is she?
She's younger than Rigondeaux.
I love the way she waited another 2 years to start calling herself the babyface assassin.
The baby's arse assassin, me. Like it.
What kind of baby? The baby from fucking Throw Mama from the Train? Fuck me.
Makes me think of Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Carl's dog. You wanted to name the Enforcer.
Yeah, carrying on. Someone in the chat there, Andy, was saying that we should stay on until the Fury Paul fight's finished. What do you reckon? If they hit a few likes, get the likes going, we might consider it.
No, mate. If I'm doing overtime, man, I want paid for it. So get the super chats.
Super chats going.
Yeah.
Hit the like, hit the super chats, get them flowing, and we'll stay on till the end of Fury Paul. There you are. Can't say fairer than that. Here you are, Rob. Here's one for you. Tonight in the O2 London, some spare tickets if you want to watch Floyd tonight. WhatsApp me. It's free, but be quick. Ring walk about 10 o'clock.
You get down there early enough, you can end up on comms with fucking Johnny Nelson and Sonny Edwards. Honestly, man, it was
Steve,
the fucking.
Steve, I dare you to phone that phone number.
Pretend it's on tonight. Heard you have tickets for Fury Paul.
Phone them up and say, "Listen, it's Chris Tarrant here. I've got someone who's on 57 grand. They need your help."
It was the fucking worst. Somebody has lost. Somebody right now, man, is fucking running down the street with a fucking car chasing him.
He's alive.
I know, the big zoom, the corpse.
Whoever put on that Floyd fight on the Zeus network is running down the street with a car chasing him like the Claymaker. Trying to get the fucking money out of him for the fucking show last night. Because Floyd must, as Dave Lee said, Floyd must have had a guarantee. Like, so there's no way he lost his money. He's his money in the bank before he's got it.
Lost, Rob.
You got something. Guarantee in the bank.
Christopher Lovejoy took a fucking knee and didn't make the count, and then was up on fucking social media mocking it. Yes, the Bob Fodder. That's what we're fucking talking about.
There's Lovejoy there.
Chris, there he is. Look at him.
His trunks fell apart and he quit.
That was one of my thingies. Oh, I was embarrassed. He quit.
But he said he got 100 grand. So he got 100 grand for it. Fucking God knows what Tommy Lee and Natalie Nunn got between the two of them. Floyd got his guarantee, and there wasn't a fucking sinner in the venue, man. Honestly, there was more people at a Dennis Hobson fight than there was in the fucking O2 watching that Floyd fight. Unbelievable. What a shit show.
He loves hamburgers. They bring him joy.
Yeah, well, he certainly does. Matt Butters is bringing some joy here. Butters on the hamburger, no less, just to encourage the lads to watch Fury versus Paul live. He's thrown in a $5. That'll go towards my pay-per-view that I shelled out for tonight, Andy.
Yeah, fucking turncoat, man.
Oh, you know how it is. Got to keep things legal. Yeah, Rob, you mentioned it there. The Bob father hitting those likes, bit of Netflix and chill. There's life in the old dog yet.
Well, I can confirm that he's actually walking to the ring, so the fight looks like it's going to be happening. I just need to get the fucking belly sound, then we know it's official.
Fuck the fight. What was
Where's
Bob?
Ozzy, man?
What was Bob looking at? That's what I want to fucking see. I don't want to
Lex got some goddamn Devil D's. Bob's got decent taste. What are you gonna
I'll tell you one thing.
Man, I'll tell you about that meat when they beg for buttermilk, eh?
It's given credence to the evidence that fucking excessive marijuana consumption prevents cataracts anyway, because there's nothing wrong with his eyesight. Bob, 94 years of age, man, you can see that.
Hey, Rob,
that's fine.
Rob, all I'm saying is if I ever get too old to enjoy boobs, I mean, you might as well just pull the fucking plug on me. I'm well past expiration.
But something tells me Bob's going to go out like that fucking, what's he call it? Anna Nicole Smith's late husband. Go out at the top.
Oh, that was that 90-year-old, eh?
I think he was underneath, wasn't he, Rob?
He was actually fucking cryo chamber for a while, by the way. That's what happened to him.
You hang around long enough and it can happen. It happened.
Oh my gosh. It might happen to this fella. It's the Guard. Advertising now. Fight night, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Gareth A. Davis and Adam Catchell bring you boxing news and interviews. Coming up, Carl Froch, Tyson Fury. All the build-up to Fury versus Paul. Click here to listen live. And then he put up a link to xhamster.com. Sissy videos.
Well, you see the thing about
sissy. Something sissy. Oh man, I think Gareth might like a little butt play there.
Well, Sissy, what I was thinking of, turns out wasn't quite what it was. If the boxing nutters group are to be believed, my God.
I love the way he claims just a good old smack as well. You know, he just provides
that he might fucking creep around in drains there like his ex-hamster fucking Sissy link. I love the way he said his account was hacked as well. Like, what kind of fucking breaks in to fucking give you all the scheduled update with Adam Catterall, and then it slips in a fucking ex-hamster link into the fucking...
Mate, not just Adam Catterall, but tagging the likes of like Carl Froch and Tyson Fury, and then links to fucking ex-hamster.
God knows what videos.
It reeks of the Guard. Absolute reeks of it.
What was the actual video, though? What was the actual video?
I've no idea.
Did anybody click on the link, though?
Well, some of the sleuths in the Boxing Nutters group have fucking made some suggestions according to Steve, so we fucking leave that where it is. But, yeah, Garrett, does anyone else think Garrett might be a bit of a creep, lads? No,
no comment.
He's a fucking danger, that's what he is.
He's missing out on the party tonight, isn't he? Because Big John Fisher, boss, is having a watch along with El Brook.
Oh, it's Boxing Social, yeah.
I'd say a few fellas are having a watch along with El Brook over the years, to be honest with you.
Hey, Big John has got a relationship with El Brook. They've had a Chinese together.
Have they?
They are.
They have, yeah.
Yeah, they've also had a meal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Both have giant tits.
The problem child is walking to the ring now. It was slightly delayed as he couldn't get his t-shirt on over his gloves, but he's got that on now and he's walking to the ring with a smug grin on his face.
Smug grin like John Fisher. There's Danny Young. He's thrown in a fiver. You called. We responded. Come on, lads, he says. And then he's put up a nice picture of John there looking well. Maybe he's going to get the top off for the watch along.
Oh, fucking hell, Steve.
Sexy man. Sexy man.
There he is, watching along.
Don't forget Michael Thompson there too, my friend.
Oh, yeah, I'm coming to Michael Thompson.
El Brook looks like she just saw the link for fucking Get What Gad posted on Twitter.
Gad floating up with the balloon from below, live from the Merchant, Brentwood in Essex, with a live studio audience, no less. I wonder how they're getting on. Maybe they're live streaming it, maybe.
Hopefully they are getting on.
They did, yeah.
Who's a spectacular tattooed fuckwit in Jake Paul's corner, by the way? He looks like a fucking gangster.
Oh, I don't know.
He's got the head tattoos. His fucking state, man.
Oh,
you know,
love a head tattoo.
You're a wankster.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's Jake Paul shitting it? He's dragging in the breaths there. Tommy Fury was nice, was cool, calm and collected, smiling down to the ring.
There you go. Ranger Rollins, I know you're a fan of him, Andy. He's onto something here, an internet sleuth. Dinah Thorsland inks a pact with MTK Global from October 2020. Dinah Thorsland inks promotional pact with Probellum. January 2022. 24th of February. Let's go, Dinah. Disrupt Promotions wishes Dinah Thorsland the best of luck in the defense of her WBO female bantamweight title. What's going on here, Andy? Who can possibly
No
tell?
idea. All I know, mate, she won by knockout last night.
She
The fight
did!
last night. Matty, I know, was watching it. He was probably sitting there with his tissues and that.
I haven't had a chance to watch it, but it's on my list. It's on my list.
I don't know what's happening, mate. I mean, like Ranger Rollins, there's at least 4 or 5 that I see on Twitter and that, you know, there's who's it, is it RJ or, you know, something along those lines.
RJ Wolf, yeah.
So and he's another one who's another bit of a sleuth. He's got a big thread dedicated to it all. And I noticed there's a guy here actually on doing the presentation with Christina Poncher and Andy Clark.
Yeah, who is that, Andy? I didn't see his name.
It's an Arab sounding name. I forget what it was, but he was another one actually that got picked out from that RJ Wolf as well. What's his name? Ahmed something. I'm sure he was just getting interviewed there literally 5 minutes ago. I don't know if anybody saw it.
I saw him, but I didn't catch the name.
Well, apparently he's another one. He was the one that was his picture taken with Badu Jack and Daniel Kinahan that day. Remember that picture? They were having something to eat or something. So he appeared.
When did Probellum announce that they were winding everything up? I've completely missed this.
A few weeks ago, a girl came on Twitter and said that she'd been let go and thanks to everything and blah blah blah. And it all
was a bit of a grand opening, grand closing, wasn't it? It was like
right. So it wasn't. It wasn't like MTK where they put a big statement out basically saying that it was ceasing trading.
No, it was very much cloak and dagger, unless I missed anything.
Right. So I haven't seen that tweet from the girl who did the thing, but it makes sense because people like Sam Jones and stuff, who had like head of talent at Probellum, Paul Smith had it in that. Ali Drew, other people who Probellum made big plays for. It's all vanished out of there now, and obviously the Twitter account has gone. But I missed the initial findings that they'd wound everything up, and obviously Disrupt Promotions are back.
This is what it baffles me, right?
A MAGA hat on.
I thought he did. I thought he had that MAGA hat on. I couldn't work out if it was a different what it was saying though. If it was the actual,
a different one.
Here's the thing that baffles me: if this man behind these organizations is the criminal mastermind that they say is. Why is he keep trying to set up new boxing promotions and creep on like some fucking pantomime villain? He's behind you. It's Disrupt. Just fucking keeping it going. We know it's you, asshole. We know who it is. Fuck's sake.
I'll tell you what. But for all his wrongdoings, I tell you what. The money that he's put into the sport, but has actually bettered the careers of fighters and given paydays that they might not necessarily have got. And created opportunities through MTK. Ultimately, I couldn't really care where the money comes from because boxing for years has been propped up on dirty dough and stuff like that. This is just one that's grabbed the headlines. So it's absolutely no shock that, when it's revealed, people are pissed off. But for the opportunities that MTK created for people, lower level fighters, your mid-tier cards, that sort of stuff, in terms of world titles, British titles, European titles, you've got to give him credit. And even on the small hall scene, when Lee Eaton was running things, the shows he was putting on, again, the opportunities and stuff it provided for everybody, like I say, yes, the dough is dirty, but it's no doubt bettered the lives of a lot of people. And
that's a bit like saying, Ritson was good to some of his kids, isn't it?
No, it's not at all. That's absolute bollocks, mate. No, it's not.
It is. It's a bit like saying,
not.
All right, he's responsible for murders in Dublin, but he's going to put on fights. So listen.
Well, technically, he never did a thing. It was all Lee Eaton and money from various sources.
I'm with you. I know what you're saying. Boxing is fucking rotten. If it's not fucking I'm sure the alleged Kinahan fucking involvement in boxing is not the only dirty money in the sport. I think you're onto something there. I think there's fucking plenty of fucking illegitimate cash and ill-gotten gains involved in boxing. Always has been. But yeah.
Fucking back in the day, man, I remember no, I didn't remember, but I can only read about fucking pounds getting fucking bankrupted trying to make a heavyweight title fight, Then fucking the fighters having to get on the first train out of town so that when they get murdered.
I just have
he's
images of
corrupt,
someone of like Kinahan people, you know, in Scooby Doo, the janitor pulling off the mask, and there's Dan behind Disrupt Promotions.
I like Rob's comment. I like Rob pantomime villain. It's behind you, and he just keeps popping up with these like random. The thing is, though, he couldn't make it any more obvious, could he? I mean, it's not that it's, Dina Thorsland, back to trio on signings with the same people, within like weeks of these terms setting up and stuff,
she was another one that was promoted by Sutherland as well.
Oh, yeah. Look, it's a whole. We could do a podcast on the whole thing ourselves, but yeah, by all accounts, he's got his fingers in so many pies, it's impossible to get rid of.
As Teddy Atlas says, you need it to be federally or government regulated, but you didn't want the fucking government involved in boxing.
Yeah,
those fucking banned. They're fucking useless. Every government,
mate, fucking governments. The UK government's one of the most corrupt fucking things
Western
going.
Generally, are corrupt, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like we want them involved, but Buffer's just reading out the reading out all the details now. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, right, so if Paul wins this fight, right, he's in the top 15 with WBC. He's never even fucking fought in a scheduled 12 rounder before. I can't.
No, he's in the top 40. It's not top
40,
15.
is it? Sorry. 40.
Yeah, 40.
Well, even
that's
an embarrassment.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, though, mate, we said it last week. I couldn't even tell you who's ranked 35th with them. It means absolute fuck all, doesn't it?
look at that picture.
It's class, isn't it?
Danny Young again.
I'm trying to remember his name. It was a whistleblower for the Russians back. The Icarus Files. What was fucking called? What's his name?
Oh, Sarovich, yeah.
It's the Russian doctor, aye. What's his fucking name?
Brilliant.
Oh, I remember, yeah. He was the one who rumbled Armstrong.
Uranium, was it? Or was that somebody else?
No,
what's his name?
no.
It's who'd you nick an egg off? That's his name.
Yeah.
Did you nick an egg off? Right, let me close out Belly of the Week here, boys, and then we'll move on to Fury. Paul, did you see that one from Domino's introducing the Conor Benn special? And he tweeted back to them, I prefer Pizza Hut myself. Getting in on the banter there. And here's one for you, Matty. You would like Joe Kennedy throwing this one in here, the referee getting down and dirty with the ring card girl. Little pat on the butt.
That is the fattest ring card girl I've ever seen in my life.
She's size positive, Matty. Size positive. Come on.
You've been nose first right at that ass.
Well, look,
the guard would be
see your
nose
face.
first,
I don't know what's going on.
Sometimes if you like big butts, you just cannot lie. You're better. Do you know what I mean? And that's the referee's mantra there, clearly. And who could blame him? Get a smack at that if you can. You can, of course, if it's consensual in these days. You know what I mean? You can't just go around fucking putting on referee gloves and slap ones on the street. But it seems like a legit move there. Floyd was at a bit of that last night in between rounds. He was up getting jiggy with the ring card girls. Yeah, he was up fucking doing a bit of dancing, and he was at one point. You're only 50, man. You're fucking relaxed. Like, what are you doing?
Yes, who's standing in Jake Paul's corner? Mauricio Suleiman. He's there. He's there for the dollars, baby.
He's in, baby. Fixes in. How's he going to work the corner? Do you remember he couldn't even cut off the ring? He was asking his old man for advice.
Who?
BJ Flores. Do you remember the famous thing when wasn't it his trainer was saying to him, cut off the ring in a fight, and he kept saying, I don't know how, I don't know what to do.
I saw it. That is Flores, aye.
Remember he was a commentator on a fight, and there was an undercard running, and he got caught on the hot mic saying, I don't even know who the fuck these are. Like, he's like me on the prediction league.
Oh gosh! Right. Anybody else got any nominations? Throw them in now, boys, and we'll wrap this up before the fight starts.
Yeah, for Domino's, and obviously they won for what's his name, Lovejoy, but we've already got those two, I think. So
yeah,
I've got one for Anthony Bellew.
That was class.
We've already heard from him these days. He's disappeared.
Yeah, Anthony tried to have a dig at Tyson Fury for not being the most of active fighters. He only fights twice a year. And Anthony, then Coogan called him out and said, well, that's what you were similar. And he said, no, I used to box every 6 months. To which Coogan responded, that's twice a year. And he tried to backpedal and, he ended up turned it on Canelo, saying, he knew.
It happens to the best of us, Anthony.
Yeah.
I gotta throw one out for whoever designed Subriel Matias's trunks, because that logo emblem, whatever was on there, it looked like the fucking love child of Pikachu and SpongeBob SquarePants. It was fucked up, man. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Paul coming at him here.
Good stuff. Kicking off. Right, who are we going for then, boys? I'm going for Conor Benn myself. It's got to be Ben, hasn't it? And WBC. Who are you going for, Rob?
I would have said Ben any other week, but I'm just so over that whole fucking saga that I stopped thinking about it like about fucking 5 months ago. The Zeus Network thing was unbelievable. Like the fact that fucking Sonny Edwards gets up on comms and says, like, I'm only here because I was looking for free tickets for my missus and they wouldn't give them to me.
That's great.
And then sits in on the card. Floyd's talking to Mick Conlon. He's up on the ring apron. There's nobody in the fucking venue. And on top of that, the commentators for the whole fight thought it was a 6-round fight until it fucking went into the 7th round. And then they were like, oh, can you believe it? We're getting to see Floyd for another 2 rounds. Unbelievable. So fucking even company man Nelson couldn't get down with it. Like it was the most horrific boxing card ever seen on pay-per-view, I'm sure. So yeah, Zeus Network.
Yeah, let's go for that, because I love epic shit shows, and that sounds like one fine one.
Epic shit shows. I'm for Zeus. Go on, Oz.
The Guard. Yeah, I'm sorry, you cannot post a link to ex-hamster sissy porn and get away with it whilst advertising a radio show. You just can't do that.
And you're hacked.
And then claim you're hacked.
The old adage, the guard who's got a verified account somehow got fucking hacked.
Who's a fucking journalist, by the way. Like he's not really giving his audience much credit if he thinks we're going to fucking. This is the fella who's been holding Conor Benn to task about telling lies.
He does know that the Twitter accounts nowadays are 2 steps on the 3-step verification. So how the fuck's he been hacked? And how's he got his account back so quick?
Well, and who fucking copies links to porn videos? Don't you just fucking scroll from one to the next until you find what you're looking for?
Scrolling here ringside, frantically typing up a report for my column, and I'm going to save this one for later.
I will never forget the time when he was actually at a weigh-in. I forget who the woman was that was weighing in, but he just appears right at the front row with his fucking phone, takes a quick picture, then turns around like the repo man and fucks off in the fucking night. Yeah.
You're right though, Andy. You know when you get hacked and stuff, you have to go through this whole process, and it's, you don't be tweeting like an hour later.
It can take ages, man. So how the fuck's he got his account back? Literally within. What was it, 6
It was
hours?
him who hacked the account.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I don't know how easy it is to hack Twitter. I dare say it's easy if you know how and that. But if Rob's got a verified account, how many verifications do you need to go through, Rob, to get fucking signed in or change your password and shit?
I don't know, but if I ever like the wrong shit when I'm scrolling through, just understand that I was hacked, right? And I got my account back.
Hacked. I was hacked. It's the old adage, you know. It's like the time when every time your phone's in your pocket and you fucking pocket dial somebody and that. What a load of pish! What a load of pish, man.
I was watching a bit today, actually, a bit of porn. League Cup final, 2-1. Oh yeah.
Aye.
Who are you going for, Andy?
I'll go for a Gad as well. I agree with Ozzy. There's no way you can get away with that when I prefer. Fucking professional journalist. It's like the time when fucking Barry Hearn got caught with the soft Southeast Asian porn. Remember that one?
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Good quality.
Conor McGregor with the gay porn as well. And his
Al Bernstein, 7-year anal. That was a
fucking epic.
I remember the Al Bernstein stuff.
Al Bernstein opened the floodgates.
Right, okay, we'll give it to the Guard in conjunction with Zeus Promotions, because that seems like something the Guard would appear on. So congratulations, you are the joint Value of the Week winners for episode 512. Quick shout out to the Patreon. With all Patreon members actually throwing in the money here. Matt Butters with a $5 on the super chat. Danny Young throwing in some money as well, and Michael Thompson. Thank you very much to you lot. Ozzy, I just noticed they're actually on this Jake Paul Tommy Fury thing. In Fury's corner is Alex Matvienko. Do you remember him? Kind of low-level pro back in the day.
Yeah. I didn't realise he was in the corner. Actually, I just saw Big John, not Big John Fisher, Big John Fury dominating the corner. But yeah, it shows, doesn't it? You know, there's somewhat. Yeah, Fury may lead on it, but if Matvienko's in your corner, you've got some decent quality. And Fury started quite well here. Actually, he's looked the best I've seen him as a pro. He looks good, decent jab.
Gas. Too much movement, too much twitching.
I don't know. Paul doesn't think he looks like he's got problems. Actually, you know, like when he puts it on, he doesn't. Rubbish. Can't, backs up in straight lines. Looks like he's breathing heavy already. marks above the right eye as well.
All Paul wants to do is try and walk into distance and throw that right hand. That's all he wants to do. But Tommy's
He doesn't know what he's doing, does he?
Yeah.
He's going to gas, isn't he, Paul? You can tell by the way he's flowing his body about.
Yeah. I think he knows he's in a real fight now, doesn't he?
But did I say this for my prediction for this one last week, Mai?
You said
Paul. I was the only one who said Fury to win.
Yep, Andy, you said Paul decision. Me and Rob took Paul stoppage. Steve also took Paul decision. Oz took Fury by stoppage.
Well, if it goes a distance, don't be surprised if he
I'm
gets an
confident in Paul. If he stays standing, you never know.
Yeah. I mean, Suleiman's in his corner and probably a few sheiks, so I think he's good.
You might even see a wee point deduction as well, possibly if one of these few.
Well, I did wonder that. I thought the referee was unnecessarily getting involved in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I know a lot of people were betting a draw on this, but I just feel like somebody's been dropped or there's going to be a point deduction, so I didn't bet it. I didn't bet it at all. I feel there's too many unknowns, and I feel like somebody's getting dropped, and I just don't think that a draw is going to be in the math or a point deduction. One of the two.
Paul should fucking do a Floyd Mayweather and bring his own referee. Your man Robert Byrd has been fucking on tour with Mayweather for every fucking exhibition fight he was reffing again last night. Like, fucking.
I've just noticed something that Jake Paul has got
odd gloves.
One white shoe,
yeah.
one black shoe.
He's got odd gloves as well, yeah.
Fucking muppet.
Fuck's sake.
This is meant to be a professional fight too. I see he's got treble Z on his fucking right glove. You see that?
Yeah.
Obviously the sleep sign.
What round are we in anyways?
Coming to the end of
Going into the third.
Oh.
Sorry, I might be a bit ahead actually, but yeah.
Fire stick, baby.
Well, I would say
I don't understand this commentary. You know,
I'm the worst.
Yeah, 2-0, absolutely. Paul's just winging shots from nowhere, missing. He just got Richie Woodall going. He's getting closer. He's getting closer.
Contest, baby. Again early what a contest this is. Richie contest Woodall.
Who's winning the fucking thing? Fury?
Frank Greaves is in Jake Paul's
he's
corner.
He's pissing it, Fury.
Jillian
That's surprising me, actually.
Well. He's a trainer now, is he? Jillian Love. Remember?
Jay Leon Love has been with him since the start.
He was another one of Floyd's fighters, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Jay Leon Love, BJ Flores.
Fucking BJ needs something else under his belt. Otherwise, he's just going to be known as the guy who got bit on the dick by his dog.
It's funny the way Roger Mayweather's catchphrase was, "You don't know shit about boxing," and Floyd said it to Larry Merchant, and then he signed Ashley Tiafine, fucking Jay Leon Love, Mickey Bay. Badu Jack is his second best fighter, second probably most successful fighter behind Tank, I guess.
He took on Adrian Broner under his wing.
Yeah, I think someone like Tiafine gives a lot of good sparring. I think not every fighter he signed was for championship potential. A lot of it might have just been for work.
Surely one for championship potential, because as soon as any of them took a fucking loss, they were out of there. It was like, see you later. Good luck. Give me back the Rolex and piss off.
Well, except Ashley, he kept him around the whole fucking time, man. Like, he's always there at the gym. So, yeah.
Can you imagine the fucking carnage of this fight? Can you imagine the carnage after this fight? I think there's going to be issues after this fight, especially if Fury gets robbed. Even better.
Oh yeah, there will.
Jake Paul gets iced, man. Can you imagine it? Fury be hanging there tapping. I'm like, get it fucking round you.
There was I don't know if it was a fake script or not, but there was an alleged leaked script for this fight floating around on Twitter today. Like,
it's all wrong already, because they both got the they got the ring walks wrong already in terms of music. Paul's had a better third actually so far.
Has he come anywhere close to landing that right hand yet?
No.
He keeps on doing this like really awkward jab to the body.
Just stabbing.
Ebony Bridges is saying that he's looking to set that up, constantly jabbing to the body to land the right hand at the top.
See the finance, mate.
She'd have to fucking be there, wouldn't she? Fucking, she's everywhere. She'd have to get a fucking job in there, fucking commentating.
She's like
the Appreciation Society probably funds her travels quite well.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe we're still here talking about this fight, and I'm not.
I'm
literally sitting. I'm sitting here listening to you guys like vaguely talk about it while I'm cleaning out my pipe.
What's that? Is that code for?
Is that a metaphor?
No, I'm literally cleaning out my marijuana pipe.
What's the reaction been in the US about this?
I don't know. It would require me talking to people. I don't like people.
My little one was on about staying up to watch it and all tonight. Like, she fucking, like, all the kids and all are into it. Like, they fucking, it's obviously a massive audience. We just missed the fucking boat on it. Like,
yeah, people have nailed, saying it's on pay-per-view, but you've seen it with all like this KSI fights and stuff.
Yeah,
the target market is not us; it's the younger crowd. Who are into these, that sort of people, and they will buy it.
I nearly dropped down today. My little one told me she paid £15 for one of them bottles of Prime fucking energy drink just to taste it because it's KSI's and fucking
one bottle, 15 quid.
15 quid. She told me she spent. I said, "You fucking what?"
I think that Jake Paul generation.
The 15 quid fee.
That Jake Paul generation is more
I
like.
paid 15 quid for it. It means.
But that age of people, I think they're more likely to, like 10 people throw like $5-7 in or something like that, and you buy it together, and they're more communal. They're not as curmudgeon-y as we are. Well, not except for Rob. Rob likes people.
Some of the kids are right up on it. I was driving home from work the other day, and there was a wee kid on the Falls Road with a little table out and 3 bottles of Prime on it. A little entrepreneur of about 10, trying to sell them off the side of the road. So I'll tell you what.
You sure they didn't have fucking handkerchiefs dipped in kerosene sticking out the top of them?
What you did in the fucking Falls Road, by the way, man? You take your life in your hands going down the Falls.
No, that's why I drive up and down there every day to work. If it someone's going to find me now. Follow me.
Honestly, right?
Sometimes
this is an 8-rounder, and this referee's the biggest pain in the arse I've seen. He's fucking terrible.
It was supposed to be a 10-rounder.
Yeah, is that
might still be?
Who's the guy in the background next to Logan Paul, gunning like a motherfucker? What is he all about? Look at him. Oh, it's just skipped past him. Maybe he's missed it.
I see Jay Leon loves in Paul's corner. If that's not an L, I don't know what is.
Aye.
He looks like he's absolutely blowing, does Paul?
Fury looks jacked, though, man. What the fuck's he been on?
He's always been a big lad, hasn't he?
He's a cruiserweight. This is a cruiserweight. He usually fights at light heavyweight, doesn't he? So, I mean, he's got another 15 pounds on him in there.
There's a picture of him as well floating around on Twitter with that doctor.
When he was
what's his name?
16.
Dr. Ooze.
Dr. Joseph
No, Dr. fucking, the better doctor, the fucking guy that told Conor Benn it's impossible to fucking get caught up in, what's his name?
Usman,
yeah, he's his doctor, but he's not his doctor. Doctor Who?
Dr. Ooze.
Has Paul run around yet?
Dr. Joseph Svenglas.
Maybe one round, maybe the third, maybe.
Yeah, maybe edge the third to him, yeah, but he's lost pretty much every second of this fourth so far.
Okay.
Fury's hands are he's like throwing 4-punch, 5-punch combinations.
Yeah, he's dropping his hands as well.
Paul's just trying to step into that right hand. That's all he's trying to do.
He's gonna have to throw with him. That's the problem. Is if you're not comfortable with that.
But his hands are doing. He's walking the distance, but his hands doing.
Has Jake Paul underestimated Tommy Fury?
Have we all?
He's got a rematch clause as well, as you know. Eh?
Sorry, Matty. Please don't put us all in that bracket because I did not underestimate Thomas Fury whatsoever.
Thomas,
you're correct, Oz.
I think I overestimated Jake Paul rather than underestimated Tommy Fury.
Exactly.
He's looked like shit, man. He's barely. I don't think.
Can't believe I'm losing me fucking prediction league status. I'm betting on Jake Paul. Fucking fucking come on, Jake Paul, get it together, man, will you?
I said it was a big thing. It was a big thing for me when Shane McGuigan, who did a bit of work with Fury, said that his fundamentals are actually quite decent. He's got a decent job. He's got decent enough footwork, and his power's not bad. That's enough for me. That's all I need to hear. When Shane McGuigan says something like that,
yeah, he's all right.
My stream just died. Thank fuck. What happened, Oz?
Fury's just he did Paul on the back of the head, but Paul did turn his back, but he apologised straight away. That was right at the end of the fourth. Thought referee was going to take I thought he was going to take a point off them, but he's not.
Yeah, getting closer to taking one though. If that keeps happening, though.
But Paul turned around.
Yeah, but if it's weighted one direction or the other, and that direction is towards Paul, they'll find a reason to take a point. You know,
Richie Woodall you know, is he just trying to make it like, you know, we're seeing something? Paul did land a decent left hook, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Paul looks shit, man. Yeah, he turned his back.
My stream's fucking died on me here.
You're not missing anything, Andy. I wish.
Nah, I didn't worry. I'm not stressing. Like,
oh, it's looking pretty shit so far. So that's the end of the fourth.
He's want to be getting a few more super chats in for this shit. Like when you're back at the house now and everything taking part.
Yeah, super chats for this stirring commentary.
I feel like I should be giving the boys a refund back for the super chat, and we can just cut the stream.
All sales are final, I'm afraid, at the Asylum.
I know Wellington's going to come after me in a minute. Flip me. What time is it? 10 to 11. All right.
Right, I'm back up. Must be end of the. Is it end of the fourth there?
Yep. Highlights. Yeah, it was a good left hook that, but whenever Fury backs up in straight lines, Paul has caught him with a couple of decent shots, but Fury's definitely winning, man. Paul's looking like shit from what I can see.
Ozzy, what's this? What channel is this on the? If I was allegedly, if I had a fire stick, where would I get this?
Just go on live pay-per-view events. You've got a choice of about 10 streams there.
Oh, gotcha.
Inferno Twig to the rescue.
Well, not me. I was Spence, one of these characters.
Next one ever. Rob, you better cut
down that sound.
I got it outside there now. Hold on.
We'll get done for the fucking copyright.
Right, the referee does look like a pain in the ass. He's stopping again here. Paul is blowing through his ass. He's giving someone a point. He's taking a point here.
Yeah, Paul's just had a point taken off for hitting Fury on the back of the head.
He needs a knockout here, big JP.
Maybe the ref didn't play much of a part after all then, eh?
Well, he's had his say anyway. He's got his little moment in. Fury looks fresh.
I must admit, Jake Paul's gloves look... They didn't look like 12 ounces.
Are the distraction tactic? One is a different colour and you don't. What's he trying to do with that?
Yeah, the shoes as well.
Oh, he's rocked Tommy Fury there with a left hook. Fury's backing up. Fury's backing up. He swings with a right hook. Fury trying to tie him up. Definitely felt that one. Looks a little bit stunned under pressure.
What time are you at, Rob? In the fifth time you got left?
1:07 to go.
I'm about 40 seconds behind.
Paul's jab, I think he's working a little bit better. He's got the range on it slightly better.
Fury's back to work. Looks comfortable now. Up jab there from Jake Paul, Andre Ward style, down the pipe.
Did you just compare Jake Paul to Andre Ward?
It's a fair comparison.
Don't call him the problem child for nothing, you know.
Fury back with a decent jab. He's holding his left hand very low.
To be fair, both of these guys have fucking traveled far more miles to fight in their short careers than Andre Ward did over the entirety of his.
Andre Ward's
that left hook definitely got his attention, like.
A glancing left hook towards the end. 20 seconds to go here. Fury holding the outside of the ring for the moment. Fires back with a right hand, tying up. Ugly fight. Horrific to watch. Both of them look bollocks now at this stage.
Matty, are you hitting the pipe?
Oh, I thought I was on mute. Sorry. I was actually trying to blow out some resin from it. I wasn't hitting it. I'm trying to get to the point where I can hit it. Oh wait, I don't need it. I have joints next to me. I'm just gonna smoke a joint.
Jake Paul around, but he's had the point off, so he's no step closer to winning this fight if he's lost the early rounds, like the lads say.
He's gonna have to come out. Well, he's got 6? He's got 3 rounds left after this, so at least
Show
the last
the replay
2.
Of that left hook.
He's going to elite.
That's why we picked him by knockout, Rob. That's why we picked him by knockout. You don't need the card. You don't need the
Fury
card.
got caught there with his head very high up, and they're showing the replay that Jake Paul slipped the jab, left hook over the top. Definitely stunned Fury with that one. They're showing the boys ringside now. Logan Paul. Now they're showing Tyson Fury. He's looking a bit nervous there in his big shirt. But now he's not nervous because he knows the camera's on him now, so he's doing a bit of
shadow boxing,
bit of jig acting. They're taking a lot. This fucking ring break seems longer, but
someone in the Nutters group was saying that there's going to be open scoring, but after the 7th round, it's only an 8-rounder.
They said something about the open scoring. Yeah, I saw that earlier, but
bit daft,
open scoring is stupid.
Paul
Suppose
going
the
for
ref
it now.
will know
Lands
whether
at the
to-
start of the 6th.
Mm.
Fury responds to sharp shots off the ropes. Paul looks a little bit discombobulated, but he's definitely going for the knockout here.
See that left hook that Paul landed there? It didn't really land it flush. It just kind of a glancing blow. Didn't
Maybe it was
like
stunner.
catch him with the knuckles as such.
That should
Yeah,
worry
it
you
was
even
more of a
more.
slap on it.
I'm only at the Fury bit here now.
Yeah, me
Technique
too.
is terrible from these two. Fury back on the jabs, starting to control it a little bit more.
I think Logan Paul's going to get involved here and jump off a fucking top turnbuckle and drop
Yeah, I
kick
think
fucking Fury to the
We're working
shoulders.
their way up those WBC rankings, boys.
Tell you what, the two of them robbed the bank. Tommy Fury threw with a good uppercut. Jake Paul turns around again, turns his back.
Dumbass.
Referee separates him. That was a good uppercut for Fury. Well, I say good. It was good for what it is.
I'm feeling left out here, man. Fucking this round hasn't started for me yet, and fucking Rob Skeen's on the lowdown.
Yeah, for the first time ever.
Welcome to my world, you dick.
At least about a minute behind, but Rob's fucking jab.
That's the Postecoglou cough, that one.
This is easy work for Tommy Fury. This is easy.
Yeah,
He's a good
Paul
six
can't follow
here,
anything
but
up on anything. The two of them are shit though. Oh, Paul looked hurt there.
Oh, what?
Fury landed with a short right hand. Paul looked stunned momentarily. Referees getting involved again.
I mean, I've no horse in the race, man, but I just want to see when I'm knocked out.
It's gotta fucking go to the distance. This is shit, like, you know. That's me giving it the kiss of death now. Hopefully there will be a knockout, like, but it's very. It looks like a white collar fight at the moment. Like, it's not.
It's not going to be Jake Paul who fucking knocked out Anderson Silva with a phantom punch, basically. Or he didn't really kind of connect it fucking fully. The guy dropped like a sack of cement.
Referee warning Fury for holding here now. Maybe there'll be another point deduction.
Fury
Damn it, they'll even it up. Bring that drawback in.
Fury right hand over the top counter.
Is Fury bleeding? No.
He's bleeding awful. He's fucking terrible. He is. I think there's a bit of an abrasion. Oh, he's taking a point. He's taking a point from Fury here. Taking a point from Fury for holding.
This referee stinks.
Show.
This is awful.
That's why he took a point from Paul. Because the fix is in.
Oh, Paul, right hand over the top.
Fix has got to be in now then.
Fix is in. That's why he took a point from Paul to make it look like the fix wasn't in. That's what they want you to think.
Right, okay. I think he'll get another point off.
On
explain
a
to
draw
him to punch and get out.
That's funky, man. That's movement.
I can see Fury getting another point taken off him.
Shitty fight. Fury now trying to show that he's not holding. He's on to Paul for the back of the head again. This referee just can't stay out of this fight, man.
Aye. Left
hook again from Jake Paul. Fury's not bothered by it though. He's firing back big shots. They're having a bit of a... Oh, it's caught fire a little bit. Fury landed two good right hands there. Just at the end of the round. There got to be another Fury round, really.
So hold on. So you have two...
I had both of them winning the rounds that they had the points deducted from.
Yeah. So there's 6 rounds, and 2 of them are even rounds. And then I think... Did you guys say you gave one of those to Paul?
Round three possibly to Paul, but it could be some...
So Paul needs to win the last 2 to get a draw.
Yeah, or knock him out.
I don't know if Fury would be involved in the fix here or no, but if there's a rematch clause involved, then it's worth millions to both, I suppose. Because both are getting... Well, I know both are getting percentages of the pay-per-view as well, so...
I'm pretty sure that ref is Hector Afu. Seen him before. He's Panamanian, I think, is he?
He's Afu of shit then, that's what he is.
You know, if you're a fighter like Emmanuel Augustus, who gave so much so many times and, you know, nary got a decent paycheck, considering fucking what these guys are making at their skill level is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. Fucking into the 7th now. Fury looking more lively, more spring in his step. He's on his toes. He's actually looking like he's wanting a scrap here, Fury. He's going for it.
I'm struggling to see why people think this is remotely close. You got Richie Woodall, who's got Fury, I think, a round or 2 ahead. Sean Porter has got it even, and then you've got Frotch, who's seen it our way. I think he's got Fury, you know, ahead by 4. which is far
Frost
more
would
realistic.
absolutely smash fucking Jake Paul to bits as soon as he's calling for that fight after this one, isn't he?
Frost with
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
mute. Frost wouldn't even need
Sean's
trained.
scorecard.
Fury
Frost wouldn't
looking
even
like he's
trained for
going
that fight,
for.
man.
Fury's trying to take him out. In fairness to him, he's trying to go for it. He's trying to go for it. He's loading up on shots, and he's catching him with more than what Jake Paul's catching him. He's way more active. Jake Paul
Right,
just
so
reaching all the time out of range.
I don't know who Sean is. Whose score is that?
Sean
Sean
Porter.
Is
Yeah.
that Sean? He's got it
Yeah.
level
He
56,
knows the
56.
score.
But
Oh,
if there's 2 rounds that are level, there's only 4 other rounds to score. So, and you guys unanimously gave 1 to Fury. So Fury or
Fury's
to,
won it.
to
There's
Paul,
no,
I
there's
mean,
fucking no
you guys
dispute.
gave one of them unanimously to Paul. So that
Rob,
means he's only 2 points down.
Rob, there might be no dispute on this podcast, but come
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
this
true.
is
Well, I
fucking
only came in
boxing.
around round 4, like at it, but look, Fury's going for the stoppage now. He's teeing off with left-right combinations. Ref is involved again, but Paul he doesn't look comfortable every time he gets hit. So untidy though, they're coming together so often. It's just like a hug fest. It's horrific on the eye, like really, really bad.
Glad I'm not saying it.
Christ, I'm
Paul
tired,
just
man.
leaning in every time, like no fucking setup to the shots whatsoever. Leaning in for a
Paul
clinch.
looks.
It's horrible.
I mean, they're both absolutely shattered, but Paul it's like he's not got a clue, basically. At least Fury's shown, like some sort of, knowledge, and he's blown as well. He's gassed, but like you said, Paul's just leaning in. Fury's trying to back off a little bit, set him up with the right hand, but yeah, it's just a hug fest there.
It's one-sided though. It is Fury. It's all Fury.
Oh, by the way, if Fury wins this, remember Jake Paul was going to pay him double. That was the bet, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he's just cracked him there with 30 seconds to go. Tommy Fury, right hand.
Who's the judges? Is it proper judges or like
Terry O'Connor, bought and paid for.
Oh, Sonny Edward had an Adelaide Bird joke on comms last night as well. He was like, maybe Aaron Chambers has got a draw here if Adelaide Bird is one of the judges.
What about Alejandro Rocan? When the Fury Wilder fight a draw, he'll be there.
I wonder who the judges are. Actually, let's have a look.
2 of them are wrecked going into if this is the last round coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Logan Paul's looking very nervous ringside. He's consulting with his mates there. They're looking very dubious. Tommy Fury looks calm in the corner. John Fury has gone through the whole fight without making it about him, so that's good.
Yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had a moment yet. Fury has a slight cut over the left eye.
Oh man, I will
clash of heads.
I'll piss myself if I fucking rob him here, by the way.
I think they are going to, that way. I think there's something funky in the air here, like. Bad clash of heads for the cut. Paul leaning in with the head.
Is it a cut?
Yeah, cut over Fury's left eye.
Oh no! Don't tell me the BBC cut rule comes in.
Clash of heads.
I'm just trying to think how John Fury can make this about him right now. Maybe he just like whips out his dick and waves it at the crowd or something.
He'll be saying, I just did a bit Floyd Mayweather Senior did. I trained my son.
Touch gloves. Gone for the touch gloves there at the end of the final round. Jake Paul has done a Josh Warrington on him there. With the cut, he's really fucking. Oh,
but is the fight finished?
No. Jake Paul leads it. We're going to the last round. Jake Paul leading with a left hook. Fury responding. Fury's got more energy. Jake Paul swings wildly, nearly ends up out of the ring. Oh, and he's dropped. He's dropped Tommy Fury.
Ha! Seriously?
Short left hand. Grab, he's walked onto the shot.
There it is.
He's not hurt.
The fix is in. The fix is in.
He doesn't look hurt the slightest. He's looking to the corner, saying it's not a knockdown.
Told you.
They said it's not a knockdown?
No, he's saying to the corner there wasn't a knockdown. He doesn't look hurt at all, but he walked onto a short left hook, got clipped, a short left jab more like and got clipped and he's gone down.
Oh,
but he's
shit,
up now.
my radio station's lost frequency all of a sudden. Fuck's sake.
Fuck.
Jake Paul looking for nothing but the left hook at the moment.
Round 8 hasn't even started for me yet.
It just got him off balance, didn't it?
Yeah, he just walked onto one, just a short little shot.
It was just a little jab, wasn't it? Yeah, he's not hurt.
He's not hurt, but 2 minutes to go. Two of them
now you've
posturing.
got 2 even rounds and a 10-8 guaranteed.
Oh,
right
yeah, he
there.
walked right onto the jab. It is a knockdown, but yeah, he was not hurt. Yeah, it is a knockdown, I think.
Fury.
I'm starting round 8 now, so I'm well behind here.
Jake Paul with the left hook. Oh, Tommy Fury with counter right hand, stabbing us. Fury trying to take it to him. Another clash of heads there. The referee separates them. 1.5 minutes to go. Oh, Fury backs him up to the ropes. Again, we're ending up in a hug.
Fury will be getting desperate because he'll know he'll need to probably try and get the knockout. Now he's got to know that.
Fury's putting his hands together now, lands 3 or 4 punches. Jake Paul up against the ropes. Fury initiates the clinch when he should probably take a step back. He's bollocksed as well, though the two of them are very tired. Jake Paul with a good jab upstairs. Fury spins him on the ropes, lands 3, 4 punches. Jake Paul's looking to hold. Ref in the middle again. Breaks him. Minute to go.
I think we're going to get a controversy here.
Fury looking tired.
Cries of robbery.
Oh, big right hand from Jake Paul. Fury eats it. They tie up again. 40
He
seconds
finally
to
found
go.
that right hand, huh?
Yeah, too little, too late. It was a kind of a more glancing one up the middle. No, he doesn't seem to punch with the knuckle pad of the glove at all.
I'm telling you right now, he's going to win this fight. And then Tommy Fury's going to get trolled within an inch of his fucking career.
Fury's letting his balls hang a little bit, like he's going for it. I was saying that he's fighting the YouTuber, like.
Oh my God.
10 seconds, here we go. Is this going to end in fucking drama here? No, they're hugging again.
Well, they're hugging again.
Yeah, Fury looks knackered now, but it's 40 odd seconds.
They can't even, Paul won't let go of him now. The ref is fucking trying to separate the two of them, and there's the bell. Tommy Fury jumps on the ring apron, so does Jake Paul. What's going to happen here? Like,
Mate, that was a Fury round, that, despite the knockdown, because Paul did absolutely nothing.
But he's not going to. He's going to get the 10-8. You know he's going to get the 10-8 regardless.
Oh yeah, of course he will. Yeah.
So with the knock. So if they were even on rounds, you'd have a 75-74 for Paul.
Oh, but yeah, but they were not even on rounds though. No way.
All right, this is all right. This is my all right. I think there's going to be 2 cards of 75-74 for Paul, and there's going to be 1 card of 75-74 for Fury. Paul's going to win a split decision.
My stream just died there.
Paul wasn't even Paul was looking at the ground when he threw the left hook. He was trying to get out of it. He was trying to get out of his own when he threw the jab. And he look at the knockdown. Oh, for fuck's sake! Just totally off balance.
Dude, and watch that be the difference maker there. All Fury might have had to do is take that last round, and he would have won it clean. Watch it be the difference.
Regardless of the score, right? There was a clear gulf between the two of them when you see them, like, and Tommy Fury being the better one, obviously, like, but it was clear, like, the Fury was the better fighter throughout what I saw, anyway, definitely.
But let's have it right as well, mate. Anyway. Tommy Fury isn't very good. I wouldn't back him to win an area title if he boxed for one next weekend.
No, he's terrible. He is terrible, but he's much better than Jake Paul.
Yeah,
like, he literally
dropped with a jab.
Yeah, it was a knockdown. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it was a jab though. He got knocked down.
Yeah, it was. It's in the realms of possibility. That's the whole thing. If they can keep it within the realms of possibility, Fury knocked him down. He was competitive in some rounds.
Yep,
that's what's happened. That's what's happened. Fury stepped in there, right? He's got hit with a jab, and because he stepped in at the same time, his lead foot has basically slipped at the same time as the contacts landed there. That's how he's fucking went in.
Look at Jay Leon Love. Don't take these checks away from me, Jake Paul.
This is a guy who had to have 2 fights with Tyrone Woodley to make sure he done it right the fucking second time.
He did do
Tyson's
it right
in the ring now.
Yeah.
Tyson's in the ring with his big shirt. Tommy's jumping up and down. They're all hyping each other. The Paul team are doing the same. Paul he's back to his more arrogant looking self now compared to what
what we're going to see as well. Referee will shoulder a lot of blame. Rematch. Didn't let him fight. That sort of stuff.
We're definitely getting the rematch. These two can make fucking double this in the rematch. Like,
is the breathing corpse and get to give us an announcement yet? No,
Doleman's in there. He's in, man. He's congratulating both fighters with a big smile on his face.
Getting that Saudi money as well. Payday.
A few boys on a payday now in the ring there as well.
Yeah,
a lot of belts being carried in the background.
I'll look for the 2%.
Just understand that everybody in that ring does not have the wealth of
we go.
Fucking first row of Saudis in that place.
Read it out. I'm probably behind.
I'll call it
out. How first card goes to Jake Paul. Fury.
Split draw.
Tommy Fury.
Did he get it?
Fury gets it split decision.
Jake Paul's raging, man. Raging. Boys, the Furies are jumping around like as if they fucking won the World Cup here, man. Like,
Well, that's Fury got the rematch.
Look at him, he's doing the big flex now. In the
To be fair, Rob, this very well could be the high point of Tommy Fury's life. Let the boy have
well,
it.
he's got a big payday for it as well. Like, you know what I mean? So,
to be honest, as well, it will be the career high because he's got about $3.5 million for it. What's he going to do? Go back onto, come back over to the UK and box people like Calamide for like 12 grand or something like that, 25 grand. Is he fuck? He'll rematch Paul and he doesn't need to box again. He's made more money, as we said last week. He's made more money than world champions have tonight.
Look at Ray's comment. Buffer would MC his own mother's funeral.
Introducing first.
Right, boys, I'm icing this stream before Mrs. Wellington comes and ices me. Thanks for everyone who's been on. Everyone in the chat who stuck along with us.
Fellas.
Rob, Kelly, Oz, Matty, and Andy. I'm not going to bother playing the intro and I need to go to bed. Cheers, boys. See you later.